Bill Gove was the best speaker I ever heard. He was the Frank Sinatra of speakers. I was standing way back in the back corner of the room at the O'Hare Hyatt. This is way back, years ago, the late 60s. I'm in the back of the room, and Bill Gove has a handheld mic, and he said, if I want to be free, I've got to be me. If I want to be free, I've got to be me. Not the me I think my wife thinks I should be. Not the me I think my kids think I should be. Not the me I think you think I should be. If I want to be free, I got to be me. Now he said, I better know who me is. I'm in the back of the room and I'm thinking, God, this guy's so good at this. If I could only do that. If I could only do that. Well, in Earl Nightingale's Lead the Field, the first recording is on attitude. And at one point in that recording, he said, now right here we come to a rather strange fact. We tend to minimize
what we can accomplish, the goals we can reach, and for some equally strange reason, we believe others can reach heights which we cannot.
He said, I want you to realize that that is not true, that you have deep reservoirs of talent and ability. And I'm listening to that, and if you said, you understand that? I said, of course I understand it. I didn't understand it at all. I bet I had listened to that at least 1,000 times, maybe 2. For years I'd been listening to it. Here he is saying, if I want to be free. And I've been thinking, if only I could do that. He can, but I can't, you know. And all of a sudden, that damn record started to play in my head. I thought, that's what he's talking about.
We can reach, and for some equally strange reason, we believe others can reach heights.
That moment, I became aware of the truth in what I'd been listening to for a few years. Our problem is, we have been trained to read the book and then we think we've got it. You could read the book and not have it at all. If you read the same thing over and over and over and you're relaxed and you look at it and you think, what did he really mean? I made up my mind right then, I'm not only going to learn it, I was going to get him to teach me. And Bill Gove became my mentor, my coach. And he taught me how to do what I'm doing right now.
Hello, my name is Jody.
And my name is John.
And we are 2 of the Elevitality mentors. We're so excited to welcome you here today because the things that we have learned through the Emergence program have absolutely changed our lives, as well as the lives of so many people that are also here with us today. And we're hoping that it's going to also impact your life. John, what do you think some of the most important things are that people who are coming here today need to do in the couple of hours we're here?
Well, what we need to do is to come in here with an open mind, because you're going to learn some things that you may not have heard before. But this truly is the key to opening up the door to everything that you want. We, Jody and I, are living proof of that. This stuff works. The material you're going to learn, the things you're going to hear, really, truly work. It has worked in our lives and in countless lives of other people as well. Stay open to everything that you're going to learn today. And remember, the biggest part of this is be aware. Awareness and application. Use the things that you're going to learn today and watch things change.
I love that. And it's so true that we're going to hear things that might challenge some of your current ways of thinking. We invite that challenge because that challenge, that place where you feel just slightly confused, that's the opening. So I'm really going to invite you that if you don't already, please grab a pen and paper because I am positive that you are going to hear a couple of golden nuggets today that, if at nothing else, the things you hear will change your life. But the more open you are and the more notes you take, the more I guarantee it's going to start to help you to change how you see things because everything changes when you get a different perspective. So, with that,
And one more thing that I just wanted to add onto this. Understand going into this, there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong. You're doing nothing wrong. It's the way you think. And we're going to get into that later on. And with that, I'd like to introduce Troy Chadwick and Dolly Alessandra, the founders and leaders of Elevitality.
Wow. Amazing. Well, we love you so much, both of you, and we're so grateful that you started this off. Isn't it? Aren't they amazing, Dolly?
What's so amazing about it too is that this was actually a vision that was shared by John Corbellini years ago. And the video that was chosen today, Troy, was absolutely channeled through you. I just wanted to share because it's all the dots are connecting for me now, even more than it ever has. That video, what Bob shared, I didn't know that was actually what he was going to say. I forgot. And it all brought it all together. That was the very words that drew me. I felt it in my heart when he would say, if I want to be free. That brought back so many memories, Troy, in the last now, is it 9 years that I've been on this journey?
Boy, has that gone by fast.
It has gone by so fast.
Oh my goodness.
And everything I wrote out the day that I found Bob and Bob found me on YouTube, what I wrote out has come true today.
Mhm.
And I remember he would say, you'll only understand that from your level of awareness. And that understanding that I have today, I'm so grateful that he was brave, that he stepped out and chose the identity and became that for me and for all of us. So
Yeah.
I just want to say how grateful I am to John and Jody. Jody, in the last couple of years, watching her journey too. I have been so impressed uh, by their courage and watching their miracles come true. They will be sharing that with you all here very shortly, which I'm really looking forward to each of you coming on this journey with us, because that's what I did. I hopped on board Bob Proctor's Starship. And then later, so did John. He'll explain that too. I found Troy on that Starship too back in we met in 2018. So it wasn't that much longer after I found our Merlin. So all the stories are going to come together. And this is where we want to take each of you, is on that journey. And that's how you move in speed. Because if you know anything about me, that is one of my favorite quotes that Bob would say. And that was that universe loved speed. And we, all of us here, are living proof of that.
Yeah.
Thank you
And
guys.
by the way, with regards to this too, all of the mentors that we have that are going to be speaking here, they all know what they're doing, and they've all grown beautifully. John, Jody, the growth that we've seen you experience has been spectacular, and the biggest thing that I feel from you is how open your minds are and how you're willing to shift the narrative inside, which is why those results showed up the way that they're showed up and why they're changing so much more right now. And for that, we are so grateful because with what you share with us and the changes that you've delivered, this is the reason why we do this. And that's amazing. Thank you so much, my friends.
Such an honor to be on the journey with you guys.
All right. So yeah, this is pretty awesome. All of this with what we've been going through, Dolly, and many may not know who are here for the first time that both of us were coached and mentored by Bob Proctor, and we started this journey because we wanted something more. There was something missing, and for me, it was depth, and I really wanted to know why things happened. What was it for you, Dolly, when you stepped into this?
Oh, wow. I couldn't describe it in words back then because I didn't know anything about personal development. Bob Proctor was my first portal. I knew nothing about it. Didn't even know Tony Robbins. I just knew he was a weirdo, this big guy in Shallow Hal. Uh, but otherwise, what drew me is exactly what you said, was the depth. It was the ancient history. I wanted to remember. I didn't know it then, the words that I can now use to describe what it was that I was feeling, but I wanted to remember who I was. And Bob was the Merlin that was going to lead me there. And it was the power of his words because he walked the walk.
Yeah, and that brings up a really important point because much of the personal development world operates from you becoming, when really it's not about that. It's about remembering and tying into who you truly are, which is so much different than what's shared out there. As a matter of fact, when I think of a lot of the stuff that's shared, the phrase new thought comes into play, doesn't it, Dolly? Like the new thought movement, all of this stuff. When really what you need is the old thought. You need stuff that's rooted from principle, the ancient teachings, because that's what delivers the outcome. So when you think of a lot of this stuff that we're going to dive into to help you to see, which are things that are already in you, that will help you to deliver the results that you would love to happen in your life, that's when everything changes. And that is something that's amazing and incredible, especially when it comes down to the powers that you have inside of you that most people are completely unaware of. I mean, wasn't that amazing, Dolly, as you were going through it? And I know both of us were going through it together in our own different worlds to the point of where it merged to what we're doing right now. But seeing that and, my gosh, there's so much in me I didn't even know I had.
Yeah. Even that the speech with Bill Gove, yeah, these aren't exactly the words that were used, but exactly what Bob said was exactly how I felt. It was that relatability. You're going to hear this a lot with our mentors because this is the things we did, was to borrow his belief, is what he would say. And then if you listen to really understand, because Bob would then he would tell his story about how someone believed in him, and he would say, I believe that he believed that I could do it, and that was good. Just that was just good enough. And that was just mind blowing, to connect those dots, because that's what he said would happen. All the things he said that would has. And it goes back to what he used to say to me: you'll only understand that from your level of awareness, and that it does continue to get better.
Yeah. Which
Yeah.
leads to a little bit of interaction that we would invite you to partake in when it comes to these things, because there you have the chat. If you're watching this live stream, there's going to be many things that we're going to instruct you to type in. The thing that we want to you to keep in mind is that as we're asking you to type these things in, or I should say instructing you to do so, it's to help embed it within you subconsciously, because that's where the change needs to happen. So let's all start with that, by the way, with go ahead and saying hi within the chat and actually share where you are watching this from. We always love to see that. And if you could go ahead and engage with that, that's fantastic. With that being said, we're going to acknowledge people that we see here right now. I mean, look at this. We got Aaron, we got Bav, we got Cian, we got Christine, another Christine as well, Dahlia, Dana, Jillian, Guy, Helen, Janet, Marco. Oh my gosh, there's so many more. Mitch, Norma, Ramon. I mean, did I say this right? Sheila, is that right, Dolly? Sheila. Um, this is amazing, everybody. So again, welcome, and we're so happy that you're here. And by the way, the reason why I like to ask that question about where you're streaming from, because it always excites me, because us being able to do this not too long ago was just nothing more than a dream, and yet it's happening right now. Well, the reason why that's important is because the results that you seek, whatever they are, the way to do that is already here. It's just a matter of you tapping into that frequency and connecting with it so that it can be delivered. And that's what we're, again, hoping that you're going to be able to see for you in your life. Now, many of the things that we will also share, as many of you have heard from the other live streams that we've had, is the emphasis that there's nothing wrong with you. John, you just talked about that in this introduction, because many people operate from believing that something's wrong with them, that they're in their own way, or that it's, that there's an issue with themselves. But anyways, with that being said, there is nothing wrong with you at all whatsoever. And by the way, I just noticed that the chat was not activated within this. So now it's activated. So now you guys can go ahead and chat. By the way, and state where you are streaming from and interact that way. So anyways, consent to that right now, that there is nothing wrong with you. I want you to all type that in the comments. There's nothing wrong with me. And there never has been anything wrong with you. What's wrong is not you. What's wrong is what's running in you. And those are two completely different things. All right, look at this. Look at the interaction. Now we're smoking. I'm just going, wow, that's pretty cool. When you first came up to that, Dolly, wasn't that amazing? That epiphany of, oh my God, wait a minute. All this time I thought something was wrong with me, that I was self-sabotaging. What was the feeling for you when that came into you in your life?
Yeah, the level of understanding of that didn't happen till much later, and it was a liberation. Connecting to Bob's collective vision that he transferred on what he saw, if you will, in the world that we are in today. It was the new world before, and now we're in it now. And that transference of that vision, with what you're sharing about how there's nothing wrong with us, how quickly liberated you can be so that you can focus on creation. That was such a power. Now remember, when Bob would say, I wish there was a needle and I could shoot it in your butt, we could move in faster, universe loves speed. I imagined all of it. All of a sudden, all these stories started to create. And
you wanted to see the needle.
I did. And then I found it. Right. Because he said, if you see it in your mind, you could hold it in your hand. And I believed him like a child. I really did. That's where I was at. I was at a complete surrender. With what you're sharing though here is I wanted to connect to that. I wanted, that's what Bob wanted too. He wanted us to be able to share this information in speed so that others could be in alignment with who they truly are.
Yeah.
And that's what it does. That's what this recognition of what we're sharing now, how powerful it really is, and why you and I were willing to burn all the ships.
Yeah.
Right? Which is exactly what is shared in the books that we read. It's not just about reading other people's adventures. It's about being in the adventure too. And then when you're in it, you start to have this whole nother level of compassion and love and understanding of your leaders and others. And then when things come up for you, how quickly you can say, that isn't me, that's just my program. And then boom, focus on the new program and how quickly that happens, and then how beautiful life becomes. And
you just said something, Dolly, and I think everybody needs to write this and then also type it in the comments, because everything that we share with you ultimately leads to this automatically happening when you run into resistance or struggle or this feeling that something's wrong with you. So let's all go ahead and type that in the comments. And again, Dolly, that's so beautiful that you pulled this in here. It's not me. It's my conditioning, and I can change my conditioning. Now, notice that difference. It's not me. You can use the word program. Dolly, what is the word that you prefer when you're talking about it? Or, you can even say paradigm.
Yeah, I like program.
Yeah.
Because there's certain pictures that come up for me, being visual, and, the translation in which we speak this truth, which ultimately is the law, the principle. And that's why I say, when you all are on this journey with us, we're taking you, that's exactly what we're doing. And it's going to be relatable. There's going to be parallels in your life. This is why we say, listen to understand. This is what it meant to go in speed. I connected to Bob Proctor's story, and then he would transfer the vision. And then I could summon that when I was going through my challenges in life, right? That doesn't mean the challenges will go away. However, new pictures will start to flash before you because of the truth of the stories that we do. So yes, it's really powerful.
Yeah. So it's not you.
It's not
It's
you.
the program in you, and you can change the freaking program. So let's get a visual of what that program looks like, because that's really all you need to change. You know what? There is nothing else. So many people think that it's something external to them, or even with regards to how they look, but it's really not anything other than how you're thinking. So let's pull up a visual here for everybody to see. And I highly recommend that all of you take a screenshot of this, because this right here is what you are dealing with. This right here is what's in the way. Now, I want you to notice the heart. How many of you have heard the phrase, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he, as a woman thinketh in her heart, so is she? See, we're not talking about this beating part, even though this heart of your body is very important, which actually moves and circulates your blood, which actually shows that you're alive. Well, in your life, there has to be movement as well. And what determines what moves through you is regulated by this. And I want you to notice the beliefs. I want you to notice the habits. Now, this is important because many people in the personal development world, they say you are your beliefs and you are your habits. Well, if that's true, what happens when they change? You see what I mean? It's not true. See, your beliefs and your habits are not a fixed condition of things, which means they can change, which means they're not you at your core essence. And understanding that is a key component to releasing a tremendous amount of stress that's on the shoulders of many because of their belief that there's something wrong with them or that they're in their own way, when really it's nothing more than a freaking program. I mean, really look at that. You know, you can look in terms of these beliefs and habits as something that's in you that leads you to behave automatically. How many of you recognize that when you believe something, you proceed to act upon it as if it's true? Why? Because you believe it, or with regards to habits as well. See, that's all automatic, which leads to, if you want to change the results of your life, you've got to shift what's automatic in you. What's automatic in you are your beliefs and habits. Now, really grab on to what we're conveying to you here. You can change this, and by changing this effectively and correctly, and when I say correctly, to be in, what I mean is, or what we mean, I should say, is to change your beliefs and habits so they are in harmony with how you'd love things to be. See, that's when everything opens up. Because you're never, ever going to be able to get what you want, the results that you would love to have in your life, if this is something that's opposite of it. It's kind of like thinking of that very simple question that every single one of you knows the answer to. And let's all type that in the comments. All of you answer this question. Will you be able to be happy most of the time if your beliefs and habits are all rooted in sadness and disappointment that you're not good enough? What's the answer? The answer's heck to the no, right? And see, this is what people don't understand. They don't understand that it's just what's here. And see, that's what we are working diligently to help people to understand. Wasn't that amazing, Dolly, in your life when you realize, oh my God, it's just that. And it's really simple, isn't it?
Yeah, I almost feel like we gave the secret formula right out the gate in the beginning, which because it's so powerful. It goes back to Bob Proctor's quote again: "If I want to be free, I have to be me, not the me that my kids think I should be, not the me that my spouse thinks I should be, and not the me that you think I should be. If I want to be free, I have to be me. So I better know who me is." And this has everything to do with your belief about who you are. Again, that's why it goes back to the foundation of remembrance. And this is really powerful. That's why when we share it, it's liberating, and it can be just that fast, that shift.
Yeah.
This is really the way that you're able to explain this is so incredibly powerful. It's like you light up the labyrinth. It is one thing to have the vision. It's like, wow, that's so cool. I'm feeling great. And you really break it down for people to see those steps on how to actually be and apply that. So this is really powerful. Again, I want to invite everyone, please tune in. Again, this is parallel, bring in the stories in which you have. It is going to enlighten you. All of a sudden, you're going to have the answers to all the questions that you had, because what you seek is truly seeking you. The answers could really be here if you believe that. So this is
True.
really good. Like I said, though, I feel like you just gave away the whole
It's
answer.
like, okay, there's this is what it is. Now let's all really engage with this. And what we would love you to do is to write down how you would love your life to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a really great question that you can ask. And it's tied into you living how you would love it to be rather than the way you think it should be or the way you know it can be, and to really stretch beyond what's logical to you. And the reason why it's so important for you to do that is because whatever that is that you decide on, that's the direction you're going to go. Now, with that being said, whatever it is, let's say, like, for instance, you want to earn a lot more money than you're earning now. Now, I'm certain that every one of you wants to earn a lot more than you're earning right now. And that's a fantastic thing. Dissatisfaction is wonderful. We talk about that in depth. I mean, with this beautiful publication that we published here, of which, by the way, everything that we're sharing with you is in writing for you to follow along and study. With that being said, dissatisfaction is what leads to transformation. But with that being said, if you think in terms of what you would love, is that what you would love? Would you love to turn your annual income into your monthly income? Would you love to dramatically change your lifestyle? How about your vocation? We really challenge you to write down what that is, whatever it is, without any limitation. Now, in terms of the limitation, it's important to emphasize that the only limitations you have are the limitations that you've agreed to. So, you know what? This is a great moment in time for you not to agree to the limitations and consent to this question. If anything is possible, what would I love from my life, both personally and professionally, that would give me a tremendous amount of joy? Now, when you have that, and you'll know whether or not you're writing the right thing, is you'll have a hard time writing it. You're going to be good, right, Dolly? It's going, oh, I can't write that. That's crazy. That's nuts. Who am I to do that? And we actually revealed that in that beautiful video of Bob when he was talking about Bill Govan wanting to speak on stage. You know, the narrative inside was, who am I to do that? That's crazy. But that's good. Crazy is good. But anyways, with that being said, the most beautiful news I can share with you about that is the way for you to get it. It's already here. It's already here. Just the same way that, for instance, flight has always been here. The Wright brothers introduced us to flight, but I have news for you. We were able to fly 3,000 years ago, 4,000 years ago. There were birds flying there in the sky. All that was needed was the connection to the idea of flight to be introduced to the ideas that led to flight. So with that being said, whatever that is that you wrote down, it's already here. From there, it's just a matter of shifting what's happening inside of you to be in harmony with it so that you can deliver that as an outcome. And that's what we want you to see. And that's what we put into play practically to help you to engage with the power of your mind to lead to those outcomes. Now, think about that for you. If you want the results in your life to be what you've written down on that sheet of paper, you have to shift what's in your heart to match it. See, that's a law of cause and effect. Like attracts like. Let's all type that in the comments, okay? Like attracts like, or you can type in cause and effect. See, this here is the primal cause. Think about that. The primal cause is what's happening in the heart. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. As a woman thinketh in her heart, so is she. Deal with the primal cause, you change the effect. See, that's the sowing and the reaping. Isn't that, Dolly, we've done such an amazing job together with all this stuff that's unfolding because that's what we sowed. And wasn't it amazing to see that and go, and it's like you said, Dolly, it's like, oh my gosh, it can't be this simple.
Yeah. As you're speaking, if you've come to our other webinars before, often too, like what will happen for me is just me recognizing this is something you remind me often. I say often because it does feel that way more now than ever about being in that moment now. Everything that you're sharing about the transformation within me and those around me and those that are here today and what it means. And so, you had us type in like attracts like. I've typed that in a lot of times in many of the lives you do. And I just want to share, something about Troy that I've seen behind the scenes. And in the 9 years that I've been behind the scenes of really incredible leaders that have shared this universal truth, one thing I want to say is, that you go out and this is true. Like he will say, someone out there really needs me. He could be in pain and he could be going through his own shit. And all of a sudden he just gets back into alignment, and I get to see that magic unfold right before my eyes in the present tense, where I can really feel it. I just wanted to share that. That's what I really felt, because writing like attracts like, for each of you that are here today, I just want to share with you that you are meant to be here. Like, I just want to emphasize that again. There are mentors here that we have been behind the scenes of, that we have seen miracles and magic. Troy will explain about how, and about magic, but let me just stay here in sharing that there has been so many of that for me, that again, I'm just so grateful for the courageous leaders that we get to surround ourselves with. And those are also all of you that are watching this, because once again, like attracts like. So I'm really feeling into your teaching, versus, just looking at it that way. So it's really beautiful. You really walk the walk.
Wow. We all walk the walk, and you do too, by the way. And
Thank
matter of fact, again, all of our amazing mentors here, they're all
Mentors.
walking the walk. Every one of them
Oh,
is on
yeah.
their own level of awareness. And what's so beautiful is the awareness is increasing. And for every one of them, it's increasing a lot. It's crazy. But why is it increasing? Now, this actually leads to who we're going to be pulling up onto the stage to talk about this. Because if you think about everything that we're sharing with you, it's one thing to know it.
Yeah.
It's a completely different thing to use it.
And to live
And
it.
the example that we'll share with you is, for instance, just think of, for instance, your keys. Maybe your keys are lying on the table, or they're hanging on a latch, or maybe either in your pocket or your purse. Now, when you think of your keys, if I were to ask you this question, are your keys useful? What's the answer that most people say? Yes, they're useful. Really? They're useful right now? Yeah, they're useful. They can open their, well, they're just sitting there on the counter, not doing shit. They're just a decoration. See, the only time, and remember, that's the only time they are useful, is when they're picked up and inserted into the lock that was keyed for it, and then you twist it to open the lock. See, that's what's called application. See, it's only through the movement that the shift happens, the change happens, the transformation happens, which again is something that the personal development world has unknowingly created, which doesn't help people to deliver results. The personal development world has created a culture of information gatherers. Get this book, get that book, go to this seminar, go to that webinar, take this course. Oh, I know it, I know it. Then the results, they're not changed. Why? Well, I guarantee you, if it's because, and if you have the information, if you have the knowledge, it's not anything other than because it's not being applied practically in your life. So here we want to bring up to the stage two of our amazing mentors. It's a wonderful team. But before we bring them up, Dolly, is there anything else that you'd like to say about them too as well?
Oh, there's so much. There's just so much love I have for both of them. Again, what they've impressed upon my subconscious mind, and the speed in which I've been able to have, an expanded vision and more of me that I could express. Again, it's not just saying it now, it's just actually being and doing it. It is John and Jody. They have seen so much with us also too. Really tune in, guys, to both of them. They're a really powerful couple here.
All right. So
Hello,
John
everybody.
and Jody, there you go.
Hi, everybody. How you doing today? So Jody and I are we are married, and we are both mentors here at Elevitality, and we absolutely love what we do. And let me give you a quick background on me, and then Jody will give you one on her. I've been in the personal development world for about 7 years now. Started with Tony Robbins, got into Bob Proctor's work with the PGI, the Proctor Gallagher Institute. I went into Napoleon Hill Institute, became certified there, and now I'm working with Ella Vitality. And there's been a few things along the way, and I can honestly tell you that every personal development organization that I've been part of explains, as Troy did, that they teach you how to find what you want and how to figure out why you want it. But the how is kind of cloudy. So this is kind of what happens. You will get excited about something, and you've done this in your life. We all have. You'll get excited about something. Oh, I want to go learn how to do this. And you get into it for a little while, and then it starts to slow down, and the momentum is gone. And all of a sudden, you're not into it anymore, and nothing happens. And that's not because you did anything wrong. And it's not because you still don't want to do this. It's conditioning. All it is a habit. And one of the great things about Elevitality is that we actually teach you the how. And it sounds crazy and it sounds out of this world. And some of the things you're going to hear today may sound a little bit, out there. But here's the truth. I just turned 60 and I was 52, 53 years old and doing the same thing over and over and over again, going to a job that I couldn't stand. I was in a relationship that wasn't working out and my life just sucked. I hated it. I just hated being here. But what I did was I realized that something has to change. I had no idea that it was me because I was living from the outside in, expecting something outside of me to make me happy. It wasn't until I realized that living from the inside out is really bringing the joy and the fulfillment that you are looking for in this world. And we teach you how to get there. All you're doing is running a pattern that's giving you the same result. And we're going to show you how to put a new pattern into place. And with that, I'm going to introduce the love of my life, my partner in crime, Jody.
Hi there. So, my name is Jody, and I've been in personal development probably about 10 years now. And eh, many of you who might know me might realize that I'm actually a trainer within another very large organization called RRI. And so I know a lot of personal development inside and out to the where I can teach it very well. And, in 2018, I became a life coach. I completely changed my life. I was a special education teacher, and I said, I'm done with that. I want to go help people, but in a different way. I want to do something I really feel called to. And in all those years that I was within that personal development organization in which I was growing at a very slow, what felt like a very slow speed. And I had some great results, but I didn't quite understand why I had those results. And I would hear, things around me around Bob Proctor, and I would watch The Secret and be like, how do I do that? How do I do this manifesting stuff? What? And I was still of the mindset that I don't understand how all these people were born with a silver spoon of happiness in their mouth, and I wasn't. And John talks about, how you are living from either the outside in or the inside out. And I've heard that. I just didn't understand it. Like, what does that mean? And nothing that I was involved with was really explaining what that meant or how to do that. And when I met John, it was a very fascinating time because uh, they say what you are seeking is also seeking you. And independently, John and I had wrote out relationship visions. And so we knew the type of person that we were seeking. And then we met, and it felt magical because he and I both fit each other's relationship vision. But I still didn't quite understand what was happening until he introduced me to Dolly and Troy. Now, y'all, I am not going to lie. The first conversation I had with Dolly, I was thinking, I don't know if what this new guy that I'm dating sees in this woman that she's so brilliant because I don't know that I connect with her. But I said, okay, I'm going to keep giving her a chance because she's using this language I didn't quite understand. It felt very ethereal and esoterical, but I was like very curious. I'm going to give her a chance. I really want to know. And the more I listened with curiosity, the more I started to understand. And so John said, hey, let's go to this retreat that they're holding. I was like, all right, let's do that. And it was after that that everything started to change for us, because I started to understand the parts that my personal development world hadn't been teaching me, which was how to actually achieve the results that I wanted to achieve in a much shorter amount of time, simply by doing the work. But what is the work? Who knew what the work was? Everybody's like, oh, you got to do the work. Who knows what the work is? But the work is actually not what I do with a pen and paper, and I've got to go do this in order to me to have that. The work is, how am I thinking about this? What specifically am I thinking? Um, when certain things come up, how am I handling those thoughts? Am I just going along with it? Oh, yeah, you know what? I can't have that, and just believing that? Or am I saying, oh, I really want to thank you for showing me who I've been in the past, but I am not that person anymore. I'm committed to a new me, and I'm going to go with this belief instead. And so maybe you know that at the time in which I met John, I was traveling the US in a camper van, just me and my dog on a solo adventure. And after John and I decided we're together, he started joining me on the road, and we got a larger RV. And John, what happened when we were in that 32-foot C class?
We had a lot of fun in that C class, and it truly was a blast. Um, but it got real tight in there real quick. And I told Jody that you cannot get out of this vehicle with you and not be thinking differently, not be a different person. And that is how our company, Travel Life Coaching, was born. But here's the gift in this. There is a gentleman. There's a gentleman by the name of James Allen. He was personal development guru 100 years ago, and he had come up with something called a fourfold order of the universe. And what that means is seed, plant, blossom, fruit. So let me explain this. When you plant a seed, you have an idea in your mind. You put that idea in your mind. This is something interesting that I want to look into. So you plant this in your mind, and you continue to learn. You continue to learn, and eventually you get a little bit of momentum. It's starting to grow, and it's going to start to blossom. And then it really takes off. Seed, plant, blossom, fruit. I'm leaving out a lot of steps on purpose. We're going to get to that. But what happened was I decided that this 32-footer was too small for us. And I wanted a big bus, one of those big motor coaches you see going down the roads. She wasn't really into this idea, but I was. And I learned everything that I could about these Class A motorhomes. And she finally realized, wait a minute, John's really serious about this. He's paying attention. Maybe I should pay attention. And once she got on board, literally within 30 days, we were in this rig, the one that we have now. And we love life. And it happened like that. It sounds like it's been a long time. She's been doing this for 10 years. I've been doing this for 7. And no. Universe loves speed. And when you become committed to this is what's going to happen. There is no other option. I am fully committed to this. Boom. It's done. It's just a game of catching up now and getting there. And we're going to teach you how to do that too. The beautiful part of this is that you can do this. When we talk about
Go ahead.
application, we're talking about doing the work. We're talking about being aware of how you're thinking. That's the work. You don't need another 9 to 5. It's not what we're talking about here. Just being aware of how you're thinking and how it's affecting your life. Because the thoughts that you think on a consistent basis show up as the reality that you're living. And it sounds woo-woo. I told you that was going to sound a little weird earlier. It's actually true. I want to get into all of this.
And one of the things that John left out was that, he said, oh, he was watching all of these videos, and once I got on board, that it happened like that. But what he forgot to mention was that just a month prior to that, John and I financially were at a position where honestly, we might have had maybe a month's left worth of bills left in the bank. And we were really stressed about money and how we were going to keep going. And so when he started to watch these videos, I'm like, "Ah, John, there's no way we can afford this and that." And so I just put it aside. I wasn't interested. I also knew that the minute I walked through one, just as Troy said earlier about dissatisfaction, I was going to be so dissatisfied with where I was, which is exactly what happened. The minute I walked through a class A, I was like, oh my gosh, I need this in my life. And we went back to our 35-foot class C, and I was like, we don't belong here at all. And at that point, everything that we learned, we applied. We sat there and we dreamed big. We thought about everything we wanted in what our motor coach was going to look like, what it was going to feel like. We literally would sit and meditate together, imagining what it was going to feel like to be in the rig, what it was going to imagine to feel like being in the rig and bringing clients into our rig. And because we did that work, we applied everything that we were learning. The universe had the how. The universe had the money. The money showed up from exactly wherever the money was at the time. And when we needed it, it was there because we applied all of the principles that we learned right here in Elevitality, and it manifested in our life in such magical ways. So, with that, we're so excited about this program because we've watched how it has impacted our life, and we want to share that with you.
Yes. And just remember application here. What that means is that the thought that you're thinking is the cause. The experience that you have is a result of the way you think. Remember that for the rest of this webinar. Thank you.
Awesome. Oh my gosh, it's so good to hear everything that you shared. And you know what was really awesome, John and Jody, is we got to experience your story. We got to experience you going through that, through all of it. And you just you did the work and you're continuing to do the work. I mean, for you, what was like for you when you first saw that, it's just about doing the work. What happened inside of you? How were you feeling when you first heard that?
I'm going to be honest, for me, it was like, what are you talking about? I've been doing the work. Okay. Like, seriously, I've been doing the work. And I'm not even gonna lie, I got a little ego cocky. Like,
Hmm.
does this guy not know that I'm a trainer within a really big personal development community? I've been doing the work, honey. But but when I opened myself up, I'm like, yes, and I might have been doing the work, but was I doing the work consistently?
Yeah.
Because I wasn't. If I was honest, I wasn't consistently doing the work. And
Yeah.
that's what changed everything was the consistency.
Oh, and you know what? I give you a big hug with this because I felt that when we were first talking. And again, I have to give my heart out to both of you because the biggest thing that I see about both of you, which is phenomenal, is how open your mind is and how you're willing to reevaluate. And it shows. It shows magnificently. Now, for every one of you, it's very important for you to understand this because, Jody, again, it's really great that you talked about this and you said this. Always understand this. Your results always tell the truth about what you understand about what's happening inside of you. So it's important for you to look at your results as nothing more than feedback and to not make it personal. Okay. To not, isn't that something that had to be overwritten, right, John, Jody?
Yeah. Yeah. The first time I heard Bob say, don't ask if I'm worthy of something better. Ask if something better is worthy of me. That blew my mind.
Yeah.
It changed the way I thought about things because the first question I'd ask myself is, what's worthy of me?
Yeah.
What else am I capable of? What can I do? Oh, I want to go down this rabbit hole. I really did. And it turned out to be the most magnificent thing in the world.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Awesome.
No.
So for all of you who did come through an invitation with John and Jody, you know what we're going to say to you? Listen to them. Do exactly as they instruct you to do. They know what they're talking about. We've seen it in them through their experience, through their study, how they talk about things. By all means, listen to them. Okay? You
Through
got
their
that?
results. You know, I also want to mention it's so interesting because earlier in the call, I mentioned about how I didn't know anything about personal development and this judgment I had on this big, inspiring leader that I mentioned earlier that Jody knows well. Right. And then you had that same thing with me. And then you're open mind, how that made full circle. Do you know what I mean? Did you? I don't know if everybody caught that. What I wanted to mention too is what I've gotten to experience with you, Jody, in that esoteric fantasy like world that we've gotten to travel to. You know, what Neville Goddard talks about feeling the ending, where we get to feel it in the present moment that we got to do with both of you. We were there when you all manifested the things you did, thought externalizing itself. Right? That Troy, you beautifully remind us that's that lighting up that labyrinth, right? It's one thing to be like, you know, manifestation, you know, if you don't understand it and you go, okay, it's thought externalizing itself, and you break it down in a way that we can really see and understand it. We are witnesses to miracle, magic, because of their open-mindedness. Again, relatability, parallel living, the very same thing I was doing, others were doing with me, right? And in however, though, when we do the work, what happens here is that level of awareness that is revealed to us. That's the gift.
Mhm.
You know, that goal that Troy, you asked everyone to write out when we first started this call. Guys, write it out because that's what I did. I did exactly what Bob Proctor told me to do. And that's why my thoughts externalized itself. And there are witnesses that will absolutely testify to all the amazing things I've gotten to experience. It doesn't make any logical sense. Zero. So
Yeah.
Jody and John, they really do know what they're talking about. They are willing to do some crazy things, so they can bring back to you and channel what you're seeking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, for perspective, I know John and Jody, you talked about this big rig, but we need to share with you like
That's a big
it,
rig.
from what they moved from and into. And this other one was not anywhere near as far as the cost this other one is. And the one that they're in right now is, you know,
So
worth
to,
over $500,000. And
yeah, to give you a
it's a
price
beautiful thing.
breakdown, I mean, we started out in what would be the size of an Amazon van at a roughly $100,000. We moved to the 35 foot, which was probably about $175,000. Um, and then we've moved now to this 45 foot, which is the size of a Greyhound bus, and it's a little over $500,000 luxury mansion on wheels.
Yeah. And it happened fast,
Yes.
fast. Thank you so much, John and Jody.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Wow, this is so wonderful to see. And we hope that all of you are connecting with their story, with what they went through, because, you know, everybody has paradigms, but unfortunately, not everybody understands what a paradigm is and how to change it. Remember, we talked about that picture about what's really in the way, and what's in the way is not you, it's the program in you, which consists of your beliefs and habits. So let's talk a little bit about something else that also helped us to understand to deliver a much different outcome, and that's being decisive. Dolly, how much did that help you to understand about being decisive?
Okay, so there were some tools that were given to me. I think of the first time I entered my first Quantum Leap portal, and you know, Bob Proctor gave me some things to do. I wrote out Serenity by James Allen. We've mentioned him a couple times here. I wrote it out every day because he told me to for 30 days. And then, there were some other things I did. And then it was a time for me to make a decision. And I remember when I did, everything else it was as if it dissipated. And that, again, that path began to become revealed. But the committed decision, had to be made. And once that was done, and more, I'm getting a better understanding of how powerful that is.
Mhm.
Right? Cutting all cords of attachment and how powerful you are as master manifestors. Because
Mhm.
once that decision is made, it is done. It's already done. Yeah, it's incredible.
One of my favorite lines about decision actually comes from Tony Robbins. And he states, it's in your moments of decision that your destiny is created. But see, most people, they think they're deciding on things when really what's happening is the program's running and the subconscious mind is executing subconscious decisions towards something, which then unfortunately delivers more of the same. See, but here what we're talking about is an actual conscious override on what feels familiar. And that is extremely important. And by the way, we need to also help you to understand that the opposite of decision is procrastination. And when it comes to you being someone who does procrastinate, if you procrastinate doesn't mean you're lazy. It just means that you don't have the habit of either being decisive or you haven't made a decision. Have you ever noticed that when you make a decision, all of a sudden the procrastination disappears because of that emotional attachment? So here we're going to introduce to you someone to talk about that, and it is Dolly's sister. Dolly, you want to say a little bit about your sister?
Sure. Just I want to share because I just think of all the chapters that I've been on with her now. She has been such a validation for me in my change that I'm just so grateful for. There's really not much I can really say because you guys will feel it from her, just how beautiful and wonderful she is. She is my my older sister, although she doesn't look like she's older, and absolutely a beautiful soul and spirit. And I just want to have her share her experience with all of you.
Okay. So it's been wonderful to see her grow as well. And so let's go ahead and hear from her and make sure that you're also taking notes with what she's sharing with you as well. So here she is.
Hi, everybody. I am Ingra Sparkman. I'm a mentor for Elevitality, and I get the absolute honor of talking to you guys today about decisiveness. It's the choices that you make, direct reflections of who you are and how you are feeling about yourself. And there's a particularly interesting story that I would like to start with because the irony that I got chosen to talk about decisiveness. For a long time, my mentors, Troy and Dolly, I'm just going to say right now, is my sister. She's my baby sister. And I've had the absolute honor of watching her grow and develop and change and get stronger and wiser and faster. And that's the trick. That's the thing that I want to talk to you guys about the most when it comes to decisiveness. There is something along the way that I learned because my mentors helped me to see that, which is the universe rewards speed. And for a long time, I really had struggled with that. I would be invited to things that my sister was participating in, and because of old paradigms, because of old beliefs that I held in my heart of not feeling worthy, of not thinking that I had enough, of just all of the excuses that would continually resonate in my mind from childhood, I missed a lot of opportunity. But let me say this, I work from today and the now. But the key about decisiveness for me was understanding and learning that the universe rewards speed. But how does that work? How do we understand that? How do we know that the universe rewards speed? Well, I feel like I'm living proof for that. Do you know that 3 months ago, and I've been an Elevitality mentor now for 6 months, 3 months ago was the first time in my entire life that I just chose to do things for me. And I was on a plane traveling to California and a plane traveling to Colorado. And you think about it, 52 years old. And I was finally doing things for myself because I made the decision to do so. But I also made the decision to be an Elevitality mentor. And it's been the best decision of my life. But I want to show you guys something that I asked my mentors if I could do. Because I'm a mentor, because I have the program in my hand, and because I study the material, but because I know my mentors and I know where they put value of importance, decisiveness is the second chapter in our program. That's how important it is to Dolly and Troy that we understand decisiveness. And I want to read something to you. It's about the law of cause and effect. Every time that you make a real decision, you set a definite cause in motion that must, here's the thing, produce an equivalent effect. And what I've learned is that when you make a decision, you literally take command of your life. It is the art of moving forward, you guys, the art of moving forward. And that's big. I mean, that's huge. That's everything. There are often times that I will be with my mentors and I will say things like, I'm thinking about doing this. And immediately Troy and Dolly say, do it right now. Do it right now. And you would be astonished. And that's where I'm trying to go with this in a kind of crazy way, is as soon as they tell me, or as soon as they told me, now I'm just getting better at it, and more abundance is coming. So I don't know how to tell you it's a law other than to tell you, trust us, it's a law. They say, do it now. And because they tell me to do things now, when these ideas come up, these divine inspiration, these moments of what I consider a God wink, you got this, girl. And I do it now, the results are almost immediate. And things like deciding to change your life can be very difficult decisions, or you could choose to have no difficulty in making the decision to improve your life. You have that opportunity because the only real choices we have in this world, the decisions that we make in this world, are just a reflection of who we are and what we believe, but we have control of our thoughts and the decisions that we make. And we're here today to talk to you guys about, what are you going to choose for you? What kind of decisions are you making? Because your outer world is a direct reflection of the decisions that you've made. For years, I thought what I was doing was the best that I could by putting everybody else ahead of me. I have a servant's heart, I have a giving heart, and I wasn't doing things for me. And in some ways, I knew that there was so much more that I could do and become. And it started a year ago when I just decided I'm not going to miss any more opportunities that my sister presented to me, because I could see all the change in her life. The changes now that I see in the 6 months, I mean, it's incredible. Let me give you a perfect example, is I don't ask permission anymore. I never had to ask permission. I just put this habit of asking my wonderful partner, my husband of 30 years, if it was okay if I do, and he's never said no. But I just somehow believed that it was important or necessary, that my happiness was okay with everybody else. And I don't do that now. And I really believe that my marriage is stronger for that. I think my husband has a lot more respect for me and what I'm doing. And he's got to see me grow and blossom. And it's changed the narrative of our marriage too. So let me give you something about decision. My decision to become a mentor. For years, I watched my sister growing and developing and changing. And I finally decided several months ago that I'm going to do this. And when I say that everything's changed because of that decision, I mean everything has changed. I've taken flights, and I know that that sounds silly, but that's a huge big thing for me. I've gotten to see beautiful things. I've gotten to experience trainings in other states in the United States, but I've grown and grown and grown. My mentorship and my ability to speak to people, to even be brave enough to come on camera with you guys, is a decision that I've made because I'm improving who I am, and what I want to help people to see today is that you are worthy, and that the universe will reward you by just saying yes. I'm trying so hard to say yes to everything because my mindset before was no, I couldn't possibly do that. I've got children at home, or no, I can't do that. My job really is dependent on me. And then I just realized I'm not valuing myself by not saying yes to things. And I challenge you. This is the thing that I'm so honored to be talking about, decisiveness. I challenge you for the next week. Anytime an opportunity comes to you, anytime that you think about something, say yes to it. Write it down. Oh, there was a decision that I needed to make. Write down what the decision was and just say yes to it. Guys, I'm telling you, it can change your entire life. It can change your entire life. And now I get to teach how to help people to improve their lives because I said yes to myself. And so I don't have a big thing to tell you guys when it comes to change, because everything has changed. My work, my relationship with my husband, my relationship with my children, my relationship with my spirit, with my God, but more importantly, my relationship with me. It's hard to make decisions when you've been saying no to everything. It's a tough battle. There's paradigms, lots and lots and lots of paradigms, and a big part of the program of Elevitality is to help you to pass through those paradigms. And the faster you get, the better it gets. I promise you that. So I want to leave you with something that means everything to me. It is a quote that I've been resonating on by Marianne Williamson. Every decision that you make reflects your evaluation of who you are. Think about that. Let us know. Let us know. You are more than welcome to contact me, get into the WhatsApp, get into our community, and let me know how 1 week of just saying yes to every time that you need to make a decision helps you in your life. It's a game changer, guys. This is all a game changer. And you wouldn't be here if you didn't want to change the game. So may God bless you. Welcome to Elevitality. Welcome to Emergence.
My
Hi.
goodness. So good. Oh my goodness, your sister. That's a whole lot of fun.
Yeah.
And it was fun to watch her go through all of that. The one thing that grabbed me the most was when she was talking about how she was always seeking for permission to act on something. And then she realized that she didn't need permission. And because of the acceptance of that, deciding, you know what, that's how I'm going to move forward. I mean, look what she's doing now.
And I've been a witness to she's already got a strong family. She's a mother of 4, a grandmother, and she puts her heart is so big. When she says she has a servant's heart, I am a witness to say that she does.
Yeah.
And watching and being a witness to how much stronger it has become because of her willingness. And I just want everyone to know there's nothing my sister bypassed. She went through everything that each of us would. And let me tell you, she had some massive programs that ran because I'm her sister, right? So, but it was her, I remember too, it was her dream that we were able to connect because we don't share the same mother. And so we didn't grow up together, and we're about 10 years apart. And so, but she's such a family hearted one that she never gave up on that vision that we would one day be really close. This makes me want to cry. Because Troy saw it and I didn't. When my sister did decide her subject last year, all right, fuck it, I'm all in. And she
Yeah.
looked at me
And
and
she
said,
did say that literally. Fuck it.
yeah,
I'm in.
yeah, she did. Yeah. And then she asked me, she said, Tully, is this really the way? Because she was so scared. Um, and she came out of it, all of it, and she said, this is the way. And our relationship, again, just these are feelings. And this is what I think of when Bob would do the best he could to transfer this, you know, this beautiful treatment for us to, and I say that it's like this, what we're seeking to remember. That's what Bob was doing. And I feel it now on that it wasn't just about, of course, yes, you set the goal, you write this out. I wrote it out. I wrote it out when he said, write it down. And, his business partner said, I wrote it down so small. And I was like, why is this lady like saying everything I'm doing? I was almost,
Mhm.
and then I wrote out, exactly that. And as I shared with all of you, it really has come true. And these are things that money cannot buy.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I'm just so grateful. Ingra's doing something incredibly amazing today. Just another thing that she has always wanted to do. She's doing it with her family. It's incredibly impressive. Yeah,
I
wonderful.
think it's important to emphasize that when you make a decision, and I'm not talking about a surface level decision, something intellectual. I'm talking about something you're really connected with. You're entering onto a new frequency. And that there alone will help you to see things that you haven't seen before. Why? Because the stuff that comes to you based from the frequency that you're on. And so, with that being said, the importance of being decisive is a huge thing that we highly recommend that you lock into for yourself in your life. Because when you do have that, and if you do study people who are highly successful in any area, you know what you will find, that they are decisive. They decide right where they are with whatever they've got. They never allow the circumstances, conditions, or results that are happening in their life to be the determining factor as to whether or not they're going to move forward. Why? Because deep within them, they know that by connecting with that, by making that decision, they'll be led to the answer.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty awesome.
It's so
So
good.
let's talk about dreaming big now. The importance of dreaming big. Let's all type that in the comments. Dreaming big. You got to dream big. If you want to make big, beautiful changes on the outside, you've got to make big, beautiful changes on the inside. How important was that for you, Dolly, understanding that you've got to go beyond what's logical to you?
This is where the validation of my sister coming on board would be. She got to see all the things I wrote out that very few people would see. She knew me since I was a little girl, since I've been born into this physical human body. And she would say, holy shit, right? Like if she can do it, I can do it too. She saw big fantasy, like dreams come true. And that's why I say she's my biggest, like, it means the world because man, I just want to just share this piece. She was, Ingrid's a badass. Like she is my icon. She is who I looked up to. She
Mhm.
was the one that had no fear. Um, and so again, it means a lot to me. This is like priceless. So yes, dreaming big is key. Again, write out what feels and seems like a fantasy. This is what triggered Jody, right? About
Mhm.
me. This girl is way too esoteric. Where is she at? Um, and it was a feeling, that
Yeah.
that I had. And now Jody, my gosh, your ability to embody that. Woo,
Mhm.
incredible.
That's incredible. It's very important for you to do that, which leads us to who's going to talk lot about the importance of dreaming big. And here's another amazing mentor that's joined the Elevitality family, and it's Therese Roeder. Everybody say hi to Therese.
Hi,
Uh,
Dream.
oh my goodness. So
Hello.
Dolly, if you can say something about Therese real quick, and then Therese, you can say more about yourself, and then we can go into this.
Therese, you're also too exactly like my sister. You've been with me since almost inception, from when I stepped into this dimension, when I first started out and I had no idea what I was doing. And you were there in that, and to see you evolve the way you have, again, impresses upon my subconscious mind. When I shared with everyone that I am in the dream that I wrote out, it's again to surround myself with leaders, those that were willing to do the work, to choose that identity regardless of outside circumstances, not just read it, but be it. And Therese, you've been a part of that with me. You've been a witness to testify along that with me. And then I also too have been that mirror and watching you, uh, blossom from inside out. And we're just really honored that you're going to be sharing about dreaming big. It's incredible. So thank you.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
oh, I'm sorry.
okay.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I want to say something about you specifically, Therese.
Okay.
It's been so beautiful to go through these experiences with you, because your energy has led us to go and do things that sometimes where I fell asleep, and you saw it, and because you were holding beautiful to that dream with that smile of yours, to the point of where we are actually led to go there. And that's a wonderful superpower that you have. And I'm so grateful that you've entered into our orbit to actually share that and to expand that with other people too.
Thank you. Thank you. And I want to speak to anyone out there who's thinking that, I'm too stuck in a job, too stuck in a marriage and in parenthood to follow my dreams. Because I understand for, gosh, like 30 years, I was in a cubicle. And I I wanted to dream big, but it was like, how? How could that be possible? I'm too stuck. Um, and so I really want to reach out to anyone who feels like it's just not possible for you. Um, I read a quote just this morning, and I want to share it with you. The life you're craving isn't asking you to become someone new. It's asking you to return to who you were before the doubt, the fear, and the noise told you to be anything else. So think about when you were a kid, you dreamed big, probably even as a teenager. I know when I was 17 and 18, I was going to go out and see the world. And I had all these dreams. And then, reality hit. Well, my reality, what I thought was reality, um, working 3 jobs at a time just to pay bills. I've been there. I know how that is. And raising kids, being the breadwinner, um, having more month left than money, at the end of the month. Um, and so you start to think, why dream? Um, I'm stuck in this job that I hate, but I'm the breadwinner. I've got to take care of my kids. I got to take care of my family. Um, so I want to talk to you about what Bob talks about, the A type goals, the B type goals, and the C type goals. And I want you to believe in yourself that you can create a dream and go for it. Now, the A type goal is the one that you can achieve. That one's like buying a car. If you've bought a car before, you can go out and buy a car. You know how to make that happen. A B type goal is one that you're like, well, if I do this and this, and if things line up, I believe I could reach that goal. So there again, that's still limited thinking, because you know that you, as being in control, can reach that dream. But then there's the C type goals, the big vision, the ones that you have no idea how to make it happen. And we here as mentors will help you to open your mind and believe in yourself. Believe that you can reach that dream that you had back when you were a kid or a teenager. What did you want to do when you were 17 and 18 years old before life slapped you in the face? You write down the dream. And at first you'll think, well, that's pie in the sky. I can't do that. But we help you to realize that, yes, you can. And so you dream big, and you get this vision of what you want your life to be like. Like, I'll tell you, I worked 40 plus hours a week for the longest time. And my vision, and for a while, I didn't see, I didn't see how I could make it happen. But with mentorship, I'm making it happen. And my vision is to be able to work from anywhere. I want to be able to travel, just like was my dream back when I was a teenager. I want to be able to live anywhere and be a coach, and using my computer and my phone and taking care of my clients while working from anywhere. And my dream is to be able to live in a warm climate, walk the beach every morning. And I'm seeing that vision. And I am still a work in progress. I've made a lot of progress toward that dream. But I still visualize, like, every day. I'm dreaming it. I'm going to be walking the beach every morning on a nice warm beach. I'm making it happen. For the longest time, I didn't travel anywhere. I was too busy working a job, and you know how it is, like having like 2 weeks off every year and visiting family during those 2 weeks off. Last year, I took 4 trips. 3 of them were out of the country, and one of them was to California. And I had so much fun. I made a decision. So we talked about decision. I decided I was going to go on those trips, and I just had the best time. And I just want you to realize that, just put your dreams down on paper. Dream big. You won't know the how. And it's when you don't know the how that you know you've got a great vision. Because if you know the how, you've just got an A or B type goal. You want that C type goal. You want the vision. Don't worry about the how. Let's just talk about, what do you want? What do you really, really want? What will light your heart on fire, your soul on fire? And let's write that down. Let's dream big and then make it happen. And through our mentorship, we will show you how you can make that vision come true. So I encourage you to, after this session is over, talk to us and let us help you to, first of all, come up with that vision. What do you want? Help you to believe you can achieve it. And then take you by the hand and show you how. Well, we don't even know the how, but you just have to believe that the how will come, that it will be presented to you, because as you open your mind and have faith, opportunities come to you. And you just have to grab those opportunities, say yes, as I heard, I think it was Ingrid said, you just grab the opportunities and say yes, and just make the decision and go for it. So that's pretty much all I need to say. I just want you to know that if you're stuck in a job or a marriage or just some life situation that you're like, I've got to get out of here, I can't take it anymore. I've been there. And we as mentors want to help you to escape that torture also, because it is like a prison. If you hate your job or your life in general, you're not happy, It is a prison. Let us help you escape that prison and live a life that you love. It's possible. It's definitely possible. So let us help you dream and let us help you get there. So that's it.
That's a big that's it. You know, I was listening to you, Therese, and I was going, wow. I was feeling the energy, the heat come
Oh,
through the screen and your voice. I'm going, whoa, that was amazing. And
thank
you know what makes it even more amazing is see you to have seen you go through it. And we can feel your connection about that. I mean, Dolly, did you felt it too? I don't, everybody here, I don't know. Did all of you feel that? Just like, holy smokes.
Uh, yes, absolutely. I was pulled right in because I could feel Therese was traveling to the very places. You know, it wasn't just her reciting, memorizing words in books. It wasn't just programs. It was true experience that she was actually traveling there as she was sharing with you her understanding of, the information that she was transferring to each of you. I felt it. I could see the stories that you would project, and it's powerful. And that's what Troy is sharing. We felt that. We truly did. Oh, I traveled to all these places. I got to do this. And if you're feeling this, these were all things that you have also gone through. And this is what we got to be a witness to, and once again been impressed upon. So that was magnificent. And yes, you definitely walk the walk. Um, Absolutely a powerful mentor, Therese. We are very honored to walk this side by side with you.
Yeah.
Oh, something else I thought of is when I would tell Troy or Dolly, but that's not realistic. It's just not logical.
Mhm.
Troy and Dolly, tell us your response when I would say, but that's not logical. It's not realistic.
Yeah, what's logical to you is the enemy of your progress. Being realistic is a real part of the problem. So, and I love that because you've connected with that beautifully. And again, you just talked about this. You weren't traveling before. You went on three trips with us to go to places that you haven't been before, of which you were definitely inspiring when it came to even overcoming some of the stuff that was happening when, I fell asleep. I mean, and I'll just give that example. There was, for those of you who don't know, like when we went on this retreat, there was a place that we wanted to go that we had scheduled to go for a lagoon. And the schedule didn't go right with what was happening. But then Therese, oh, I really want to go there. I really want to go. And she was holding the image with a big smile. I mean, it was a dream that definitely was connected. And then when I was listening, I was going, you know what? Wait a minute. What the heck? Uh, and then next thing you know is we're all going, even though it didn't happen according to plan, and it all landed so beautifully. And that I want to say is something that I'm really grateful for
Well, it didn't
from
make
you,
any
Therese.
logical sense.
It didn't make any
Ingra was
sense.
there. Yeah, Ingra was there too. And she said, well, I have a flight. I don't know how we would go. And there it was. Ingrid said yes. And because Therese was loyal to that vision, and we got to experience what I described, and it really felt that way. It was heaven.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. And yeah. So thank you, Therese.
Thank you, Therese. That was magnificent.
That was really awesome.
Absolutely great. I was, again, just like Dolly, you used the right phrase. I was drawn in and I was drawn in too. Thank you so much.
Went by too fast.
All right. Wow, this is so cool. So we went over the importance of application. Knowledge does not have power. The only way it has power is if you use it. We went over a little bit about being decisive, which was beautiful. And then here we talked about the importance of dreaming big and how important it is to dream big. So now let's talk about the lie of self-sabotage. What say you, Dolly, with regards to that lie and how seeing that changed everything? I mean, for me, it changed a lot. What about you?
Yeah, this again would go because it goes right back to what Bob shared that day. For me, I was in the basement at rock bottom, feeling as though there was something wrong with me, that everything I did, I self-sabotaged. I thought I hated who I was. And that liberation to remember that's not really me. These are just programs. And they're not
Yeah.
even my programs. Yeah, they've been installed. And so
It,
it's been very powerful.
isn't it interesting when you look at it, how when that narrative is happening of, oh my gosh, I'm the problem, I did that again, I'm battling against myself. Isn't it interesting when you look at it, how much negative weight is on you, the guilt, the shame. And what's amazing is when you get rid of that, the guilt and the shame that disappears.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that would be from forgive others for they do not know, and also too to forgive yourself. And it isn't that we do not know, it's just that program. You know, there's another layer to that. I'm not sure if we're going to discuss it here, that you and I made a revelation of recently about,
Mhm.
because the reference would be, well, then it must be my program that is actually sabotaging. And we took that to a whole nother level to say that's not even true either.
Yeah, that's even said. So check this out. We say that we're sabotaging ourselves, which is a bunch of bullshit. I mean, this is why we wrote this gem right here, to obliterate that lie that we are intentionally and consciously inviting negativity into our life. If you look at the word sabotage, it's an intentional and willful act of destruction on something. It's like cutting the power lines of something to stop a mission from taking place. And when you really look at it, that's not anything that happens. But then now you have this other part that you talked about that we were just talking about, where we say that the paradigm sabotages us, and that's not even true.
Mm-hmm.
Because
So,
think about the paradigm is a program that runs. It has no emotions. Your subconscious mind runs it,
mm-hmm.
and your paradigm is not intentionally inviting negativity in your life. It's just a program that's there that's being reinforced. And that right there alone is something really great and pulls in an even deeper understanding of it. Remember, we had you type in before how it's not me, it's the program in me, and I can change the program. See, what people have defined as self-sabotage is not self-sabotage, it's not self-sabotage at all. It's a program that's running, that's being run by your subconscious mind, of which doesn't know good or bad, of which is not intentional. It's something that's just running. And the best part is it can be changed. I mean, really grab onto that. It's not me, it's the program in me, and I can change the program. And by the way, with regards to that, this is not a play on words. This is not about semantics. And this is actually pointed out in this beautiful, liberating book here, because the words that we use, they stem from the beliefs that we have. And so when you say that you are self-sabotaging, that you're in your own way, that you got to get out of your own way, that you're battling against yourself, if that's something that's coming out in your language, it's because there's a belief in you that's connected to that. And that's important. Why? Because that leads to a vibratory state. And the most beautiful part here, though, is that you can remove that, you can change it. And the liberation is crazy awesome good. I mean, just think about that for all of you right now with whatever you're going through. And just let's just think about right now and pay attention to how you feel when you just say this. Wait a minute, that's not me. I didn't do this. It was the program in me, and I can change the program. I mean, how many of you feel different just thinking about that compared to, oh my God, I did it again. Why do I keep doing this? Ooh, you know, you play that song from Britney Spears, Oops, I did it again, right? I want you to notice the difference. How many of you notice the difference? It's dramatically different, isn't it? So again, the emphasis about this is to help you to see that it's all a game that's happening in your mind. And again, I'm going to pull up the graphic here, that's tied to this, because again, this is what you're dealing with. And you're not self-sabotaging. There is no such thing as self-sabotage. And for those of you who are coaches and mentors, get this, because this completely cleans up the mess that the overwhelming majority of the personal development world has spilled into the world unknowingly with really good intentions. And once you see it clearly and know it for what it is and understand that you can change it, man, you start to fly. And on top of that, another big, beautiful benefit of that is you're no longer susceptible to the tyranny of second causes. Things don't affect you as much. How much has that happened in your life, Dolly, as you started to operate from that?
Well, feeling is the secret, so Teflon, when there's nothing affecting you, you're enjoying more of the beauty that surrounds you, where your tension goes and, and there's more of that expands. And so that's incredibly powerful, too, that revelation that you explained to everyone. If you caught it, it is profound, that golden nugget about what you resist persists, and so rather than to fight, oh, it's that stupid fucking that paradigm, instead
Mhm.
it's just recognizing it for what it is. And it's like what you shared about how you hugged your Hulk,
Yeah.
right? Like, and how powerful that was to just dissipate. Ah, there you are, right? Like, just like there's been times where I'll bring up paradigms to Troy and I'll say, is it okay if I bring it up? Doesn't mean if I bring it up, it's going to expand. And you'll remind me and you'll say, as long as you're not emotionally attached, right? Like, be the observer of it instead. And
Yeah.
let's look at it from a high frequency in alignment.
Yeah. You actually brought up something really important, and I hope all of you caught it because you were talking about where, you fight the paradigm, right? Now, remember, there's an emotional charge there. And the important thing for you to get that is if you are fighting it, it means you're emotionally involved with it,
Mhm.
which means it's going to continue to come back. So you need to lead your thought process so there is no emotional attachment to it. Because remember, everything is fundamentally meaningless. As a matter of fact, let's all type that in the comments. Everything is fundamentally meaningless. Nothing is good or bad. It's our thinking that makes it so. And when you start to operate that way, you look at your results as nothing more than feedback. And when you're not emotionally involved with that, but instead emotionally involved with how you love things to be, and if you relive it enough times, then what starts to change is the result. Why? Because that's how you're thinking. And what's beautiful is when you engage with everything that we're sharing with you and start to make this your new normal, your new way of thinking, what happens is less and less the outer stuff affects you.
Mhm.
And to me, there is no greater feeling when nothing external to you has any power over you. I mean, how about for you, Dolly, going through that when the more you strengthen what's happening inside, that feeling of, oh, you know what, that's just a result. That's just that. How beautiful is that feeling where when those things don't affect you?
This is really, again, profound if you're really tuned in to understand this piece. Because one of the things that you helped me unfold, because learning Bob in the years I did, there were other mentors too. He was just the main one that opened up the initial portal and then stayed with him, was when you shared about the use of your will, one of your higher mental faculties, and what that will was actually used for, which was being loyal to your vision in your imagination in the quantum field.
Mhm.
That's the will. That's you holding a vision that there's no evidence in this physical world. And what you think is the matter. However, it was that was so profound for me. Yeah. And so when you are Teflon, if you will, 'cause that's the word that Troy uses, and I think of the movie The Matrix, where the bullets cannot reach you, you now can be an observer of this beautiful place. And that is what people seek. That's what I meant. That's what Bob meant when we said speed. What I didn't mention was when I said I was wanting speed, I was in a hurry because I was running out of time.
Mhm.
Yeah. There were things in the physical world I needed to take care of financially fast. And so I was saying, give me speed because I need money, because I didn't have any. And I share that because you see, I didn't know what I was doing. I was borrowing the belief of my mentors, my mentor. and he would tell me to do certain things, and I did. And I didn't quite understand the how. And then later it was revealed to me, and that was the gift. And so I just wanted to share how, yes, how incredibly powerful that is.
Yeah. It's so cool. And when you tie into why we're bringing this up at this specific time, is because when you do make a decision on something that goes beyond what's normal to you, what will start to come in are ideas that are in harmony with how you have been thinking. Now, most people, they think that that's self-sabotage happening, but it's really not. It's actually something that's supposed to be happening when you've introduced a new element into this new thing called your life. But unfortunately, most people don't understand that. And that leads to somebody just hitting the wall, and then they go back to what they call safety. You see, that's not what we want you to do in your life. We want to help you to understand what's really happening inside, and to first and foremost recognize that you're not in your own way, you're not self-sabotaging, you're not battling against yourself. You, in fact, are a magnificent creative being with incredible powers. You have this wonderful, beautiful power of dissatisfaction, you have your agency, and then you have those mental tools of imagination, perception, reason, will, memory, and intuition, all of which are there to create. See, that's the essence of who you are, and that would never, ever stop you. And with the flexing and exercising of those muscles, you can change that inner narrative inside to shift this thing called your paradigm, which is what this is right here. Remember, there's no such thing as self-sabotage. What's in the way is this, your beliefs and habits. This is not you. This is the program in you. It's what you've agreed to, and you can change it. And that right there is worth so much, but only if you start thinking that way. So good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Amazing. So this leads next to what we call awareness. You know, most people, when they operate in their lives, they are completely unaware of what causes the results in their life. So let's touch a little bit on that, Dolly, and then introduce to you someone that's has a beautiful sense of awareness about a lot of things in her life. But with that, for you, Dolly, what did you learn about that in terms of when you learned about what was causing the results in your life?
Oh gosh. Well, first and foremost, too, I just, as I embody this, this beautiful energy that's coming up, awareness, that I just realized now, that's no accident. I think one of the mentors that I had along the way was Dr. Joe Dispenza. This is no accident at all. And I share this because of this beautiful connection that we had with our next mentor and how fast it all unfolded.
And we
And
say, when she's saying fast, we're talking fast. Like,
yeah.
like, actually, I need to go like this whoosh, instead, not like that. It needs to go like this.
Yeah. And and that's exactly what it feels like. And what's really cool, again, for us is that, being a witness to testify the things that we wrote out, Troy, like about how we wanted, to build the age of empires, like that's
Mhm.
how I see it. Yeah. And this awareness, and Bob would even say your level of awareness, what that really meant. And he would say it only gets better after over 60 years of teaching this. I've barely scratched the surface. And I'm
Mhm.
thinking, what does that even
Mhm.
mean? Yeah. And being able to feel each level and then to be reminded to really be and live in that moment. You've done that in many chapters of when I would, you would manifest a C type goal where you would stop and share with me, Dolly, look at what has happened here. Cause it moves so quickly. And this level of awareness is such a gift. And it's actually quite fascinating that Lisa, this is what you'll be speaking on. I just realized
There, you said her
how it
name. There
all,
she is.
there she is,
Hey
right
guys.
out of, yeah, just beautiful, beautiful swim.
So welcome, Lisa, everybody. This is Lisa, our newest Elevitality mentor. And Lisa, my gosh, let everybody know about you and share your
Mhm.
beautiful journey, my friend.
Yeah. So, yeah, speed has definitely been the theme of the story. And as Dolly suggested earlier, I was fortunate and honored and privileged to have shared some of my transformation journey with Dr. Joe Dispenza, who has been a key part of my transformation, and leading into the story that I'd like to share with you around when we put this work into practice, how powerful it can be. So, awareness, if we think about and touching on the points that the other mentors have made throughout this webinar, is that awareness of the thoughts that we have that create our behaviors, which create our actions, which then create our results, is just so powerful. And I want to take you on my journey, which has actually only really been for the last few months. It's been incredible. The speed at which my transformational journey is happening is is just so beautiful. And I want to share this so that you know that you can do this too. So I used to be in a corporate job. My life looked like I had it all. I had a nice house, I had the nice car, I had a good senior position. I had friends that I could go out with, life looked good, but fundamentally I knew that something was missing. And deep down inside, I thought there has to be more than this. And I realized that the only person that was going to be able to make that change was me. Nobody else could make that change for me. It had to come from within. And so I embarked on a journey of self-discovery, and which led me to a Dr. Joe retreat. And I went to my first retreat last April, and then a second retreat in November last year. And through these retreats and through this work that we're doing with Elevitality, learning about how our thoughts impact our habits or impact our behaviors, and how powerful they are, led me to really start to concentrate on what did my thoughts look like? Were they self-limiting? Was I impacting the progress that I was having in my own life through limiting beliefs around what I was capable of? And through this self-awareness, I started, I think Teresa or Ingrid said earlier, start noticing the decisions you're making or the decisions you're not making. So what I did was started reviewing the thoughts I was having. And, were those thoughts serving me? Were they helping me to live the best version of myself? And what actually did I want to do in my life? And I knew I didn't want to work in corporate anymore. And I'd got to a point in my life where I really wanted to help others. And so my thought process went into the thought of, I really want to help others, but I'm not sure how I want to do it. Maybe I could be a life coach or maybe I could be a counselor or something in that space where I could work, with one-on-one or in groups with other people to help them on their journey. And I was at the retreat in November, and one of the things I want to bring into this as well is once you start having self-awareness, you also start to recognize opportunities that are presented to you. So at the retreat in November, I'd really got to a position where I was really grounded and happy, you know, with my progress, that I'd made a decision that I didn't want to be in corporate anymore, and that I wanted to move into a space where I could help others, but I wasn't sure what it was or how it was going to happen or when it was going to happen. And I had the absolute pleasure of, by chance, sitting next to Jody and John, two of the other beautiful mentors on this call. And we had a conversation and we exchanged numbers, and I was like, they're really cool people. Like, I really enjoyed my time with them. And then they went their way, and I went my way. And then in January, so I kept having these thoughts. I really want to stay in this space. I really want to stay in the space of helping others to realize their fullest potential. But again, wasn't sure the how and the when. And I was in Florida for another Dr. Joe retreat in January. And at the end of that, I think it may have even been before that, I was like, I could really do with a mentor, you know, somebody to help me, to help give me some guidance. You know, I kind of know the direction I want to go in, but you know, I haven't got the tools or the knowledge to be able to do that on my own. I really need somebody to kind of walk that path with me. And Jody then texted me out of the blue and said, you know, how are you? Where are you? And I'm like, oh, I'm in Florida. And she's like, no way, we're in Florida too. And she was like, we should catch up, you know. And I said, yeah, that would be cool. But I didn't know where I was going next. And I thought about it. I was like, oh, you know, do I want to catch up with them, or where am I going next? Should I be letting myself flow more? And so at first I said, oh, I'm not. Hi, Wingtech in Florida too. Beautiful state. Love Florida. And at first I was like, oh, I'm not sure if that, you know, if that's what I want to do. And so I said, oh, I'm not sure at the moment, maybe we'll just park that for now, but you know, I'd love to catch up with you again in the future. And then I sat on that for a day, and I was like, you know, with the new awareness that I had, and I'm like, this seems like an opportunity, you know, an opportunity that I've been looking for a mentor. And Jody and John are in Florida, like, and the synchronicity here is just, you know, it seems a bit too good to be true. And so I text Jody back and I was like, let's catch up. I'll drive up to you. And I went and spent 2 nights with them in their fantastic RV. It really is like a palace on wheels. And spent 2 nights with them, having some personal mentoring around direction and the different visions that I had in my life of where I wanted to go. I've got a pretty big vision of where I'd like to go in the future, and they really helped me to, you know, to break it down, and to start putting some steps in place to take me towards that vision. So I left Florida. I felt so much better after that 2 days, just having people walking, you know, side by side with you on any journey, you know, whether it's a career change or a relationship change. I also had just made a decision to to consciously uncouple from an 11-year relationship. So, you know, I had multiple things going on. And just to have that support through having the awareness of the opportunity that had been presented to me was just amazing. But it didn't stop there. So I then attended another retreat in Cancun in February, and John and Jody were going to be in Cancun at the same time. The synchronicities were just starting to come more often. And as I put my thought and energy into my vision, it was almost as if the universe was like, hey, we're going to give, you know, you're putting your thought and energy into your vision, you're dreaming big, and you've made the decision. And now you've made that decision, we're going to meet you halfway and provide, you know, the support to support you in your journey. And with that, yeah, Jody and John were in Cancun the week after my retreat with Dr. Joe Dispenza. And they said, oh, we're going to be in Cancun with Troy and Dolly, who are our mentors. Why don't you come and spend some time with us after your retreat? And so I did that. And we spent 3 or 4 beautiful days together. It was such an honor and a privilege to meet Troy and Dolly. And during that time that we spent together, Troy and Dolly actually, again, out of the blue, invited me to become an Elevitality Emergence mentor. So actually, if I tie all of this together, the awareness that I had was that life wasn't working out for me in the way that I wanted it to. I wasn't happy in my job, my relationship, my total life situation. But I made a decision to make a change, and I didn't know what it was going to look like. But I put the energy out there, and the thought out there, and the feeling that I knew something had to change. I made the decision. I then dreamt big in that I really wanted to change my whole career from a place always of service, but from being in a corporate energetic environment into a more of a community servant environment. And then this story started to unfold. But with my awareness, you know, having worked on my awareness, which opened my mind to opportunities, and making the decisions at the time when those opportunities presented themselves with a little bit of fear, sometimes not fear, but, you know, I'm not sure how this is going to pan out, but I'm going to just say yes and lean into it and go with the flow and see what happens. It's actually led me to here where we are today. And I'm a product of the product. So I've been being mentored by John and Jody for the past, I think it's around 2 months now. And the synchronicities and additional opportunities that are occurring for me on a daily basis are really, really quite profound. I'm so excited when I wake up every day around what today is going to hold, just because life is now starting to unfold in the most beautiful and magical ways. If you'd had asked me 3 months ago if I would have been aware of the growth and joy and happiness that I would have had through going through this program, through working with such talented, caring, kind, compassionate, knowledgeable, highly intelligent mentors, to bring me to the place where I am today. I would have never dreamed in the last few, 3 months ago, that I would have been on this journey. So I think to really summarize, the gravity and the depth and the power of this course, to really bring you back to who you are, which is to have the awareness that's not conditioned by old beliefs, old thought patterns, old beliefs, old behaviors, which may have stopped me from making those decisions or stopped me from recognizing the golden opportunities to work with spectacular mentors when it presented itself, then I wouldn't be sat here today. And so, yeah, I really, the thing I would like to share with you is, this may be a different course or a different program than you may be used to, but it is life-changing. I've only been a product of the work for 2 months, and my life is completely changed. So I would highly recommend, you know, sitting down, as the other mentors have said, and really thinking about what it is you want in your life, and remembering that through your own thoughts and through your own beliefs and through your own feelings and actions, you can completely change your life, and it can happen extremely rapidly. So yeah, I would like to take this opportunity to thank John and Jody and Troy and Dolly for the amazing mentorship that I've had in the last 2 to 3 months. And I'm so excited to be continuing this journey with you and to be bringing this program to so many people whose lives we can change with this fantastic knowledge and wisdom.
Wow, that was beautiful. And what we feel from your heart is magnificent. And yes, it's been fun. And when I say fun, it's really been fun to watch the shift and feel from you how you are excited, each day. Okay, now what's next? What's next? And isn't it interesting how it all ties into just saying yes to what's calling out to you
Mm-hmm.
and overriding those patterns or beliefs that really have nothing to do with you?
Yeah.
One thing that you mentioned too, Lisa, that we've been a part of with you has been that you do walk the walk. You apply and implement the work you do. And we've seen you do that. I remember in the car when you did, and I felt the shift inside. You said, thank you. Right. And it was right up to another energy and incredibly so magnetic. Your playfulness and recognizing in your awareness those opportunities that you called in.
Mhm.
And completely illogical. That's how I moved in the speed I did. It doesn't make any logical sense. And that's why, too, there's so few. Yeah, Bob would say that, I believe, when we first started out. I can't remember if he would say there's only 5, 3, or 1%, and his goal was to reach everyone about the awareness that we have. And your level of awareness, you came in high, and your willingness to get there in the speed you did is what we've been a witness to. And this is why, again, going back to what we did, we were willing to do whatever it took so that we could work with exceptional leaders of the world today, so that we could expand and express even more of who we are together. So Lisa, you are an implementer of just that. And thank you for sharing your story.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was so
So
powerful.
Lisa, what was really interesting? I love how you approached sharing awareness with connecting it solely to it leads the awareness you have, it leads to what comes to you. and what you go to. And I love how you shared how you saw that it's because I accepted it. I guess that's it's a little different than how I share it. With that being said, the way you shared it, I recognize, hey, that's a really good way to communicate that. And I want to say that, that's pretty awesome. Pretty cool.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Thanks for the opportunity.
All right.
Thank you.
Wow. Isn't it beautiful to see how every one of our mentors here, they have their own special, unique way
Yes.
of connection, because every one of them,
Yeah.
and remember, there's no competition here. Everybody's at a different level of awareness. They all have their own special places with regards to their hearts. With that being said, that special place is a big, beautiful place that people connect with. And, it's what you actually talked about this, where what we would write down, that we attract exceptional, decisive clients who have a strong desire to be amazing leaders. And that also, I want to add in, who also have beautiful hearts and this beautiful desire to share this and help other people to grow, because it's helped them in their lives too as well. And that's pretty awesome to see that all showing right here.
Yeah. It goes again back to the like attracts like. I remember when I really did manifest Dr. Joe Dispenza, Bruce Lipton, and Greg Braden, all to come to Colorado, Boulder, to make it easier for me so I could be in VIP and to meet them. And one of the things I got to recognize was the energy. Yeah, how powerful that is to be in this energy, whether you're here live or watching this on recording, how powerful this really is. It truly, really is. And the leaders that are sharing with you their stories and where they're at and how powerful that is for you. It's again part of the manifestation of what I wrote out, working with the leaders of the world today.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yes, it is. It's definitely pretty darn cool.
Yeah.
Which leads us to another thing to really tap into, and that is who you truly are. And most people don't know who they are. They answer with their name, their race, their skin color. I'm the mother of, father of, but don't really understand who they are. Now, I know that sounds kind of weird, kind of, what's the word that we use here? Like, weird. Weird is a real
That's
word.
so strange.
It's foofy, but it's so important to get, because if you don't understand who you truly are, the road on this thing that we call life is going to be more challenging. But when you do understand who you truly are, that's when everything opens up, which leads us to the introduction of another really great mentor. Dolly, if you'd say something about this next powerful woman, I would love that.
Okay. Oh my gosh. It goes again to her energy and just how beautiful she is. Yeah, I don't know if it's a servant heart. Just, it feels like that when I say those words, when I think of you and your willingness to do the things you have, and being a witness to what you've maneuvered through that people speak about, and miracles, and watching you actually apply and implement the work you have. Again, just someone else that is impressed upon me, and I have summoned you when I needed to, and my life has been even more beautiful because of your willingness to do the work. And Jane, your name fits so beautifully because you rise. And one of my other favorite quotes is that we rise together, and that
We do.
yes,
Yes, absolutely. Well,
it's
thank you, darling.
thank you. Here you're gonna feel her energy. I mean, it'll speak for itself when she speaks.
So welcome, Jane. The floor
Welcome.
is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. So, if I want to be free, I've got to be me. And this all relates to who you truly are. And I'm a little emotional, but I'm going to get through this. I met Dolly. She came into my life about 3 years ago. And it was after a really tough time I went through. And I know why I was picked to do this. Um, in 2021, I had been through a series of events that really had, it just felt like everything was against me. My mother was terminally ill, and I was diagnosed with an esophagus cancer. And about 18 days before I was going in for surgery, my mother passed away. So I was dealing with grief, and I went in and I had my surgery, and excuse me. And I thought I was recovering. Everyone was leading me to believe I was recovering while I was in the hospital, but I could not really function, get out of bed, and hold myself up. And so I had a visit from my niece who detected, she was an RN, and she detected that there was something else going on with me. At that time, she had the doctor come in, and the doctor had assessed things. And when that happened, they found out that my feeding tube, which was in me, was feeding the whole cavity of my body and not going through my intestines and processing properly. So I went into acute respiratory and renal failure. And when they rushed me into surgery, I could see my body laying on the table. And I was trying to tell them that I couldn't move my limbs, that I couldn't talk to them. I couldn't tell them that my body was dead. And so that's why I feel I was chosen to speak about this topic, about who you truly are, because I was separate from my body. So I know that for a fact, that our bodies are our instrument. And so what transpired next is 6 months after all of this, I met Dolly, and it was like she said, she summoned me, and everything connected. I connected with actually John and got information, and connected with Dolly, and that's truly how it all happened. And what I'm here to tell you is that this program has gotten me through all of my grief. It's gotten me through just different events in my life that have transpired. It's taught me how to pivot through life with ease. And that's because I've figured out that I am a spirit. I'm in a body that was given to me. And that has actually allowed me to do my decision making quickly and to build things from nothing into big things. It started out with just wanting to be a part of Elevitality, and I joined, and we started going on. We had a couple trips that we took places. I went to California and spent time with a group of people with Elevitality. And I also went to Mexico and spent time with them there. And my trips were just wonderful. It's the people here, they're so good, and they teach you so much. Each and every mentor that is here has really touched my heart in a different way, one way or the other. But again, back to who you are, who you truly are. Um, it's something that you have to you have to come to the awareness that you are able to navigate through things and make decisions and not let your old habits, your old thoughts that don't serve you anymore. I was in a place where I thought, oh, this is life. This is all I have to look forward to. So in in that looking and getting involved with Elevitality, they've showed me that I do have the ability to get through things and to move on. The past is in the past, and that past does not define me. And just the awareness that there is a higher self in yourself that helps you to make your decisions and to pivot through difficult situations to get the results you're getting to. Um, Again, like they speak about, you don't know, you don't need to know the how of how you're going to get your result. It will be shown to you, when the time is right. So after I got with Elevitality, I got through that. I started making decisions, taking trips, uh, going to trainings and retreats. And I also had an issue like Ingra had as far as making decisions because I thought I had to ask. And I've gotten to where I feel like I don't have to ask anymore. I just say, okay, I'm going, I'm doing this, I'm committing to this because it's for me. It's for me. And um, I had a hard time because I like to help people. I like to give to everyone. I'm a people pleaser. And and so for me, this has helped me to learn how to give myself more love and the awareness that I have that I take care of my body now because I know it's my instrument. I know that I need to have my body in order to navigate through my experiences. So I don't know if that helps anyone. I think this is a hard subject to talk about, but I can tell you that since I've gotten with Elevitality, um, my marriage is a little bit stronger than it had been. Um, I have helped to get, um, after I got through getting over everything else, I planted a seed to build a home back home because my husband and I were living in Oregon. I decided I wanted to be back home, and we had discussed moving back home after he retired from his job. So I actually planted that seed and I went through working with the builders, doing all of the work and decision making for that home. And we now have a beautiful home in Pennsylvania. And that that comes from me knowing that I can trust my higher powers. We can do anything that we want. We are really just uh, we are powerful beings, and we can do anything that we want. And really, all we have to do is take that action. So I hope that helps people understand who you are. I want to read something to you, just because it's something that hit me. Um, Living from the self before the story. So, like, we tell ourselves these stories about who we are, and you know, and that's not that's you can be a mom, a nurse, a bookkeeper, an author. You can be all these things. You can wear all those hats, but that's not who we truly are. We are a spirit in our body that we've been assigned. We've been assigned a name at birth, and that's who I am. That's how I'm identified. So I want to read this to you, and it's from one of our lessons, and it's living from the self before the story. So I want you to think about this, like whenever uh, each morning before the day begins. Imagine your roles laid out in front of you, like outfits you can put on. See the visionary. You're a parent, partner, you're a friend, a husband, a wife, and each one is available for expression. So it's like your soul is expressing who you're going to be. Then feel into the presence that exists before any role is chosen. This presence is steady, quiet, and unchanged by circumstance. From that place, say, these roles express me, but they do not define me. Carry that awareness into your day. Let every role become something you enter consciously while staying rooted in the one who is choosing. So, and there's a quote by Florence Scovel Shinn, and it is, there is a place that no person, situation, or condition can touch. It is the secret place of the Most High within you. And when you enter it, nothing can disturb your peace. And I've found that to be true. I'm much more at peace, and I love working with the group here. Everyone in this group is they're just they're loving, they're caring, they support you in any way that you really need them. And I couldn't say enough about Troy and Dolly's support and how they got me through everything that I went through. So, but again, I feel that uh, the spirit that we have in our body is exactly our most high. It's our higher self. And without your higher self, you would not be able to navigate through things quickly. But once you realize that you have that and you're aware of it, you wind up navigating, pivoting through things quite quickly and accomplishing big things, big dreams that you have, and moving forward. And I'm grateful for everything that they've done for me. But, and also, I've been working on my business, Rise with Jane, and it is coming along quickly. I've just made some big decisions and gotten some things together. So that's another thing in my life that is moving forward. So, yeah, thank you.
Oh my goodness. Just when you think your heart is full, it gets fuller.
Right,
Each.
right.
I'm talking about you.
That's so beautiful. What I was feeling too is when, Bob would say, like, all you're gonna want to do is share it. Everything that's happening, that has happened since you've been, I want to say, doing the work and remembering. And what I felt from you, Jane, was again, you traveling and navigating and sharing with us
Mhm.
your experience. And thank you. Again,
Oh, thank you
there's a lot
both.
that we've been a witness to that you didn't have to say specifically, and how
Mhm.
when I see a phoenix rising, I think of you. The things that you've gone through and applied the work the way you have, and the joy that you have now. Again, just it's thank you for
Yeah.
sharing.
Mhm.
Thank you so much,
Absolutely.
because that
And
was
the way you
so
shared
great.
it, the way you shared
Yeah,
it. Oh,
you've
so
shifted so much.
thank you.
Yeah, it's incredible.
I couldn't have done it on my own. I know I did the work, but I had great mentors, and I've I've dealt with everyone here. I haven't gotten to meet Lisa, and I'm anxious to meet her. But I feel like I know her, already, and I'm excited for that. But uh, you know, uh, this has been a true journey for me, and I stop and think, what would I really be doing with my life if I had not met? I mean, I if I hadn't have met you, where would I be in my life? So I'm truly honored to be a mentor with Elevitality for the Emergence program, and I can't wait to see what all transpires. The transformation already has been huge.
That's so beautiful. Isn't it, again, just all about just changing how you think? And that's it.
Right.
And it's so simple. And because of its simplicity, it's overlooked. With that being said, again,
Mhm.
thank you so much for opening your mind, for doing the work. We love the wins that you share. And yeah, it's amazing. Continue, continue, continue.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jane.
Wow. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, each and every one of you, all the mentors here.
Wow. So good. Oh my goodness. Keeps getting better and better. And again, the thing I love seeing is how everyone has their own special way of expressing this and using it, and it still comes down to living according to the principles. When you have the principles, when you understand what they are, when you live from the principles, what's called miraculous change, which is not miraculous, but anyways, that's what it feels like. That's what begins to transpose and happen in your life. Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah. Yeah, and this is going to lead us to
The two minds.
our
Oh, this is kind of cool because we're literally going to talk about the two minds, and there's two minds that are going to come on stage.
our queen and king. And when I say that, I've said it every time, and I'm gonna say it over and over again, that I fell in love with both of them the moment that I met him. There was such a familiarity in their wisdom, their beauty, there's just sometimes there's just no words to describe how grateful I am that we get to do this journey with our queen bee and our king Tom.
Hi, y'all.
Hi, y'all.
Everybody, this is Tom and Zan.
There's something really special about these
That's
guys,
right.
guys. Tune
Oh,
in.
oh, now he's centered there. Move closer together so your camera goes zooms in there. I think that's what'll do it. So, anyways, Tom and Zan and Tom, we're so grateful that you're here. And boy, we're looking forward to what you're going to share about the two minds. So, y'all ready? I'm going to do a little Zan thing first.
Where'd she go?
Oh, she'll come back here in just a second. There it is. Okay.
We got the fade here.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, well, the Queen has allowed me to speak first. So I have the microphone first. Our connection with this Elevitality information, coaching, counseling, love, support started in 1923. Oh, sorry, 1923. 2023, 100 years difference.
It's been a long time.
Well, it's been a long time. And
Time travel.
yeah, where we're all common spirits here. So, and prior to that, my experience with self-development started when I was 20 years old. And ironically, I started reading the book that Bob Proctor was reading, Think and Grow Rich. Now, I'm not saying that I absorbed everything, because I read it about twice and then I put it down, and then years later I picked it up. But all during that time, I was always searching for knowledge, searching for mentors, and searching for application. So in my search for all that self-help started when I was a sophomore in high school. Little story, my dad was an alcoholic, and I received an awful lot of verbal abuse from him, not physical, but verbal. So I was being suppressed. And I decided, I made a decision. Who said that decision? I think Ingra talked about the decision. I made a quality decision. I'm not going to let this affect me, and I'm getting out of here through my education, through my knowledge, and I'm going to be a millionaire. So haven't quite got to the millionaire part, but I did get out, and I'm using everything that I'm learning. So all during those years, and by the way, I'm 78, so that's about 50 years, 50 plus years that I've been searching. So when I came across Troy at an event with one of our billionaire friends, something clicked. Both Zan and I said, we like this guy. He's got some good vibes. And we kept following, and then when Troy and Dolly began Elevitality, we're all in. We're all in. So let's talk about the two minds here. Our minds are made up of a duality, just like Zan and I are made up of a duality. We have the conscious mind, and I have the subconscious mind. And we've been listening to all of the mentors talk about what is laid down in the subconscious mind. So for the first 8 years of my life, those were the paradigms that were instilled in me through repetition from my parents and other people that I allowed to have influence over my life. Well, when I was a sophomore in high school, the age of awareness, I think it had come along before then, but it really kicked in. And I was able to evaluate some of those paradigms, and one of those was drinking. Well, that's not going to be a deal. And smoking. So, I was making decisions early. So fast forward to today, and the things that we have learned by being in Elevitality and the immersion program have helped me to actually use my conscious mind to evaluate and look at the results of my paradigms. Once I figured out and found out that I've got paradigms in there, the patterns, looking at the results and begin evaluating, asking the right questions. And there's a book out there called that, Asking the Right Questions. If you, or as I were asking the right questions, I was getting better answers. I was asking some wrong questions as well. However, through this training, through this awareness of when something is not what you want, you don't have the right feeling, and I didn't have the right feeling about a lot of things, that I look at that and say, why am I having that feeling? What is the cause of that? Knowing now the cause and effect. And everybody is, to some extent, probably aware of the law of cause and effect. It's been, mentioned many, many times. But actually looking at it and looking for a cause or the effect, that's where the work is. And that's where the evaluation happens in the conscious mind. What I am understanding and implementing is that my conscious mind is the doorway to letting anything into my subconscious. And like we already know, the subconscious mind is amoral. It is like a soldier. I'm going to give an analogy here. It's like a soldier. The general gives a command, allows something to go in the subconscious. The subconscious is a soldier. He is the executor of that command. And as a result of executing that command, there are certain results that happen. So that the results in my life, that as I begin looking at every one of them, is what caused that. Because it's not the subconscious mind. That wasn't the initiator. The initiator was in my conscious mind. Because I gave instructions, either knowingly or unknowingly, to my subconscious mind so it can act or cause an action and instruct my body to actually move and do something, or my mouth to say something. So through the Emergence program, it has helped me stair step my confidence in control, managing, and getting to where I want to be. And it is so powerful. It is so powerful. It is a set of tools along with our higher mental faculties and our decision making in my conscious mind, filtering down into my subconscious instructions, and then eventually having a result that I really want. So these are all tools. Paying attention, being aware. I think Lisa was very good about the awareness, is being aware and being present and not drifting off. Because when we're not present, when we're not in our conscious mind, it's not working. The subconscious takes over, and whatever program I've got in there is going to kick in, and it does. And then I got to have red flags. I've got to watch for the red flags, which again is being aware. That didn't work out well. Let's go back to the cause. So for me, my training has been in engineering. So I know systems. So I view my conscious mind, subconscious mind, my heart, and all my higher mental faculties, they're all systems that work together. I have to be very, very conscious, or I get to be very, very conscious about looking at the results, then re-engineering back to the cause. I understand that really well. And here's the work. You got to be aware. That's my work. And that's a 24/7 job. And I love it. Okay?
Thank you, honey. Well, I'm so excited to be here and to be a part of Elevitality, of Emergence, to be a coach and a mentor in this group, and to be surrounded by all of the beautiful people that are here. And there are a few who aren't here, who are in the program with us all, but it's like Jane was saying, and we met Jane a couple of years ago, and we just hit it off, and we are friends, and we both love giraffes, and that's it. And so we're grateful. And Lisa, we feel like we know you already, even though we haven't met you, but we will. And you know, I've been a hairdresser all my life, ever since I was 12 years old. I started working in a beauty shop and continued on and got my license and built a wonderful, wonderful career and trained other hairdressers. And as I reflect on my life and think about some of the beliefs that I had and that I was raised with, I was raised out in the country in the South. And so I got a lot of my beliefs from my friends at school and from the church, the pastor, and the people in the church. And I thought those, and my sister, who was 16 years older than me, I thought those were all truth. I thought that because they were adults, that they knew the truth, they knew the secret, right? And so I had a very busy early life, and really started to explore myself, get to know me after I sobered up. And I sobered up 42 years ago. And being in AA helped me to really look at me and see what kind of person I was and what I had been like, and maybe even some of the damage that I had done to others, and most of all to myself. I started after starting in AA, I started expanding my awareness to who else could I learn from. And so I became a student of Tony Robbins, and that was an amazing experience. And I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about others. And then Tom and I met, and we both matched in what we believed, and we started on a really great path of also working in Tony Robbins' work. So it was really interesting that I learned to do work in AA and in Tony Robbins, and then we graduated to Dr. Joe Dispenza. So Lisa, we've been to numerous retreats, and back in 2020 or 19, I believe, I had been looking at some YouTube videos, and Dr. Joe came on one of them, and I don't even know what he said, but whatever he said, it just struck me. And it was like, this is who I want to know. I want to know more about what he's talking about. And so we branched out into that, and in 2020 we immersed ourselves in reading the book of Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, and that was a mind-opening experience for me because I had never really thought about what I thought about, even though through AA and through Tony, I didn't think about what I was thinking about. And I would think about something and let the emotion of it grab onto it and take me into a tailspin. And it was really interesting to me that when Dr. Joe was talking about that I could change those thoughts, I could interrupt them. I could interrupt those thoughts, and I could not attach my emotions to them. And all I had to do was to really participate in saying change and really changing what I was thinking about. Well, then we met Troy. Like Tom said, we met Troy through his reading a book on online with such clarity, and every word meant something, and he would describe what every word would mean, and we didn't skip words. We were really following along with him. And so when we went to the event in California, we got to meet Troy in person, and even though Dolly was there, we didn't meet her, but we now know that she was there. We missed her, but Troy, his presence was so amazing, and his energy was so amazing that we knew from that experience of meeting him that we wanted to know more. We wanted to know more of what he was teaching. We wanted to know. We were open and we were ready. And so we started in with Troy and his daily study, and then he and Dolly created Elevitality, and it's like Tom said, we just said, okay, we're all in. We're all in. And we've been all in ever since. So I'm not sure exactly how long that's been. Maybe it's been 3 years, but we've been with them on trips, and we know them personally. And we've been on trips with John and Jody and Jane and a lot of others that aren't here. So, and with Therese, we've also been on with her too. And so most recently we really immersed ourselves in, we have been doing the work. And I want to say that doing the work helped me to move through a particular instance that just happened most recently. And because of doing the work, my previous work with Tony, Dr. Joe, and doing meditations with Dr. Joe on a pretty regular basis, and then everything that we have learned with Troy and Dolly through all of the study, through all of everything that we have participated in, and with Emergence, it shifted me in a way that I had a stroke back in January. And instead of, this is the really powerful thing, instead of giving into it, giving into the thoughts and the feelings of what a stroke could be like and what that meant, and my thought process through it all, and with Tom helping me, not helping me, except just keeping me moving forward. But I had this stroke of awareness, that was what the stroke was about for me.
I
It's
love
like
I love that.
it was
I
like
didn't come up with that one. She did.
bam. Because I thought, well, why did I have a stroke? I'm really doing pretty good in my life. I'm 78 as well as Tom. And we were on Emergence mentorship program that day, maybe a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, this is a stroke of awareness. And it started right as the stroke happened. I got up, I fell, I lost my balance and fell, and I immediately, my mind took me to get myself up, to help me to crawl over to my chair and to pull myself up by myself, not having time to do that for me. It began there, knowing that this was going to be a different time in my life, that I was going to use everything that I had learned. And most of all, what I'd been learning in the last 3 years with Troy and Dolly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Applying it. I mean, I started applying it immediately. I started watching how I was thinking and changing those thoughts so that when it got to my subconscious mind, it was all different. It wasn't pitiful. It wasn't the ways that I could have gone. Even because I've been on a walker, I've not been attached to the thoughts that people would think about me and that I would think about myself. Tom renamed it to what did you call that walker? To something different.
It's a mobile transport.
Yes. And so in doing that, I'm in physical therapy, yes. And they're blown away by how I'm improving my walking and I'm saying to them, hey, listen, it's because how I'm thinking about this. I'm using the program that we have here in Emergence. I'm applying it to myself. And so I'm thinking different and I'm being different. And so now I can walk without the walker because it just knocked my gait off a little bit. And I can walk with a cane if I decide to. But most of all, what I really am saying here is how we think and the thoughts that we think that drive us to do the things that we do through the subconscious mind. When Troy started talking about this, and it opened up this whole new awareness for me back 3 years ago, has really set us both on a whole other path, a whole other learning. And we thought we had learned a lot before, but what we weren't doing is we weren't applying it. And so now that we are applying it, we're seeing miracles happen in our life. I mean, let me just say, having a stroke and being able to come through it like lightning speed, yes, and not have effects from it that most people say, oh my God, Zan, you are so fortunate. Yes, I am, but I've been doing the work. I've been doing the work. And so I believe, I believe out of all of that, that from that doing that work is why I didn't go any further in any way with the stroke. I know that clearly. So it was clearly a stroke of awareness. So we say to you, and this is my favorite quote, if you want something you've never had, you need to do something you've never done. And so if you're watching this, and maybe I think we have a couple of friends that are watching this, and you want something different, and yet you keep doing the same thing over and over again, we say to you, come join us. Come join us and make the change now before the change changes you. Just make the change now. We're so grateful and so honored.
One more thing.
All right, honey,
One more thing.
baby.
The work. Let's talk about the work. This is conscious work, conscious awareness to apply the tools that we already have within us. They're already there. And it's a matter of recognizing which tool to use to get the results that you want. And it is work. I want to read something from Wallace Wattles. He says, there is no labor from which most people shrink as they do from that of sustained and consecutive thought. It is the hardest work in the world. And just having a statement of your goals without putting some work in, putting effective work in, and the work is not only physical, it is also mental. Because if you just do the mental work without doing something in a certain way to accomplish your goals, the resources will, if you don't do that, then the first mental work is impotent. It just doesn't work. You have to have some kind of physical action that is associated with that. I have to remember that every day. I'm a doozer. There was a cartoon character about that, a doozer. They're always doing something. I'm doing something. I'm aware, though, of what I'm doing. That's the key right there. Comparing that to what I want, and then going back, reviewing what's already been done, and then going back and looking for the cause. If the cause is really good, I can do that again. I can install that in my subconscious. If it's not, thank you for raising your head. You are no longer useful. And don't do that again. So with that, I'm all out.
Thank you.
Okay, I got to do this. Ready?
But
Yep.
you can throw that in too.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much, Zan and Tom.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. So, so good. Boy, we have some really great people that we have in our orbit here. And I think that that's amazing. And it's been absolute joy to be on this journey with both of y'all. I got to say that. Okay.
Thank
So
you.
amazing.
That
We
is so
love y'all.
true. Yeah, your all's wisdom, even too when I share about that was actually at where you met Troy, is where I actually saw you from a distance. And this also too comes to thought externalizing itself. I knew there was Yeah, there was something there for me also to learn and to grow from within both of you. And it's just mind blowing how it all came together the way it did. You know, we again have a level of awareness of how it all unfolded and how magnificent it was. And as you all share your story, I again think of how Bob Proctor would say, you're going to want to fire hose everybody. You're going to want to tell everyone how great it was. And they're not going to get it. You know, and that's in just want to say to both of you and all the the growth that you have both done and your willingness to transfer and to apply and to implement it even today and to share your wisdom means a lot to us. It really truly does. And those of you will understand that on your level of awareness. You guys are magnificent. Thank you so much. Really
Thank you.
powerful.
Oh my goodness. Wow, we went through so much today. And I hope all of you have got a lot from this in terms of what was shared. But I want to go over again specifically what each one of our mentors went over and why we shared it with you. It's a good idea, huh, Dolly? Let's share it with them.
Okay.
Yeah. The first thing that we went over with John and Jody was the golden rule of application. Let's all type in the comments application. Okay. All type in the comments application. That's the first thing that John and Jody talked about when we were speaking of what they felt in their lives and how applying the information is what was missing. See, there was knowledge, they knew about it. And by the way, that's a common story for every one of us that's here, us included as well. And you'll find that the overwhelming majority of people who do have all of this knowledge, you'll find that that's actually what's been missing is application. So that's the first thing that we talked about. And then the next thing we talked about was decisiveness. So think about in terms of that, Ingra shared how important it is to be decisive, to decide right now where you are with whatever you've got, to not seek permission to move forward on your life, to act on how you would love things to be. So let's all put in the comments decisiveness. So application, and then decisiveness. Now, why application in the beginning? Well, because you can know all about decisiveness, but if you don't apply that information about being decisive, guess what? You're not going to be led to newer outcomes. Things will stay the same. And then we had the next beautiful thing that was talked about was the importance of dreaming big. Now, here you study being decisive and you start to lock into the importance of being decisive. Well, now you have to decide on what you're going to decide on. Most people, when they put their dreams on the table and start to imagine things, they start to imagine based from what they know they can do or think they can do rather than what they truly want. And it's important because whatever you decide on as far as whatever that goal is, that's where you're going to be going. So it's important to dream really big and never dream based from what's logical to you. Why? Because what's logical to you is the enemy of your progress. Now look at the progression there. Okay, application first and foremost. Next is being decisive. Next is dreaming big. And then after you dream big, I decide that I'm going to act on this big, beautiful idea. Then what was talked about next? We talked about the lie of self-sabotage because guess what? There is going to be a struggle. But if you don't understand what's causing the struggle, you can actually lead yourself to feel guilt and shame and a lot of negativity. But remember, what's in the way is not you. What's in the way is your program. See, there is no such thing as self-sabotage. And then after that, Lisa, she talked about awareness and the importance of understanding what causes the results in your life. And she shared her amazing story about, hey, it was because of my awareness that these things did come into my life. The big question from there is, are you aware of what causes the results in your life? Now, notice the progression there. You have first application. And remember, that applies to everything that we're sharing with you. We can share you all this incredible knowledge, but if you don't use it, forget about it. And that goes for anybody that shares with you anything. Then we went to being decisive, dreaming big, then the live self-sabotage, then awareness, then Jane talked about who you truly are, which is this magnificent creative being. See, now that strengthens it even more. That you are an amazing creative being, always for expansion, full expression, that you're not a body with a spirit, you're a spirit with a body. And then it led to what Tom and Zan shared about the two minds, conscious mind, subconscious mind. Your conscious mind, whatever's held there, impresses upon the subconscious. It's your subconscious, that's the enforcer. It's a loyal servant, but it's not loyal to you. It's loyal to what you made important. Now, just think about that order. Now, why are we asking you to think of that order? But you know what? Those are the first 6 lessons in emergence. The very first lesson, which is the golden rule of application. That's the most important thing to start with. See, most people, when they try to help people to make change, they start with, you know, like dream big or something like that. But they don't talk about the most important thing is, hey, we're going to share with you information. We're going to share with you a lot of really great knowledge. And the most important thing for you not to be is an information gatherer. You've got to apply, and we're going to constantly refer to that. Dolly, how much of that changed everything when it came for you in terms of what's happening in your life?
Everything.
It's a lot. And you know, what's so funny is if you have all this knowledge and you're not getting the results, I guarantee you that it's because it's there as information. It's being stored, you know it, but it's not being used. And so think about the next part, being decisive. It's one thing to know you're going to be decisive. It's another thing to be decisive. And it's being decisive that delivers change. Now, that's just the first 6 lessons that set up the foundation, which leads to where all the real power is really moved, and that's through the use of your higher mental faculties. But just think about what's happened here with us just sharing you this. And imagine how different your life would be with having that kind of structure to embed within you the right way of thinking so that you can deliver the right results. And that's what we're inviting you to connect with. You know, again, both Dolly and I, we were coached and mentored by Bob. But you know, as wonderful as Bob is, and you know how much we love Bob, we talk about him all the time.
Mm-hmm.
With that being said, what was missing was a structural progress in an organized way to be able to build and shape a new paradigm to the point of where you can understand it and build it again for something else. Isn't that what was missing for you going through this, Dolly?
The most amazing thing for me, I really want to share would be the stories of each and every mentor here that has been the application and the implementation of the material itself. And and that again is a manifestation of a dream I had when I first did meet Bob and what it meant for him when he would say, because that was it. I mean, being mentored by him, what made him such a great teacher for me, what a mentor, a guide, was he would say he would want us to do it better. You know, like he wanted us to reach more people. This was so important for him. He wanted us to go further than, you know, and I could feel that. And so what you share here is the very thing that he wished for all of those that did get to study with him. And that, you know, when I think about what I had to do to get to him, to work with him as closely as I did, and how afraid, you know, I truly was. However, it was worth every decision I made. And I met the guides along the way that gave me the tools, just as you all are receiving yours today, through storytelling, which you can feel the truth of. That's the application of the very teaching that Troy just covered now. It wasn't just read, memorized, because anybody can do that. Right? You could read a teleprompter and who's the better actor, right? Pretending versus acting as if, and really walking the walk as every mentor here has. And that's who I wanted to surround myself with. And I was willing to burn all the ships. Uh, and it's been worth it. And I'm just so grateful. And it does get better, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does get better. So with that, again, grab onto the structure that's there. And I want you to again notice how one builds upon the other. And imagine how different it would be for you with that kind of structure, that kind of guidance. I mean, just right now within this live stream here, this webinar, I mean, just think about the awareness that you've received from just this one beautiful call, and imagine that kind of guidance in your life. I mean, everything changed. You know what's so beautiful is everyone here who was on the stage shared their transformation because of the use of it, and also because of the depth of it. And that's also another thing I want to reiterate as well, which again, I'm so grateful for when it comes to Bob, because Bob had a way of explaining it at a very deep level to break it down so it's very easy to digest, which is what we've done here to expand even more. And we hope that you've felt that yourself as well. So with that, if you were invited here by one of our great mentors, Dolly and I are both going to say this about them. Listen to them, have a meeting with them, get that call set up, and then do exactly what they instruct you to do. And when we're talking about the doing, we're talking about the mental movement. It will then lead to the behavior. Once you connect with it, your behavior automatically happens in accordance to whatever that is. And that's another completely different lesson. But just follow their instructions and really connect with it, because they're there to help you to make big changes. And then if you happen to come here because you were invited by us, then let's have a conversation and talk about your next steps, your evolution, and the growth that you're seeking. And so, Dolly, is there anything you'd like to add on top of that as well?
It's exactly that. That's exactly what I did. It didn't make any sense. I found some dude on YouTube named Bob Proctor, and I just followed my heart. Didn't make any sense, and I just kept on following that pool, and then I did exactly what those that had the results that I was seeking told me to do. Whether how illogical it sounded, it didn't matter. Do this, write with your left hand, write with your right hand, write this out every day. Whatever it was, I did it, and it was again, we did the best we could to share with all of you the good news. Yeah. There's no accidents. You're here by design.
Yeah. So we want to say thank you so much, and we're going to pull up our mentors here all on the screen right now so that all of us can wave to you and say thank you so much. Let's go ahead and add everyone here. Everybody start waving here. And again, we're so grateful that you invested your time with being here. We're so grateful that you decided to invest in being really powerful. Okay, good. I was waiting for you, Therese, to turn on your camera. There you go. So we at Elevitality want to say thank you so much. You guys go ahead and unmute and just share with everybody. Thank you so much. All at once.
Thank you so
really,
much.
really great.
Thank you.
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
As a matter of fact, let's do this. Are you ready? Let's do this. Let's share with everybody the golden rule. What's the golden rule, my friends?
Application, baby.
Application, baby. If you don't use it, it's not gonna work.
Take care,
Love
guys.
you all.
Thank you.
Love you.
Thank you all.
Believe in
We love
yourself.
you.
You got this.
More than the stories I've been told. I am light, I am love, I am whole. From the silence, the truth begins to rise. A new creation I see through